You forced my hand, you wretch!
万物初始。
No! Impossible!
想跟他打，你不够格。
His attempt to incriminate Fang Chen had failed, branding him a petty villain instead. Enraged, he roared, "Fang Chen, what skill is there in obtaining demonic cores through such devious arts? I refuse to accept this. If you have the courage, then face me." Sensing the immense improvement in his physique, he yearned to wash away his former shame and clash with Fang Chen once more. Jin Zhongming, who had remained silent all this time, felt a sharp glint flicker deep within his eyes as a sinister, cold smile touched his lips. Betraying not a sliver of fighting intent, Fang Chen stated with cold indifference, "If you cannot accept this, then go and procure 350 demonic cores yourself. If you lack such skill, perhaps you could fill a sack with stones instead. Someone might just believe you." The jibe about the sack of stones was too much for the crowd. They could no longer contain themselves and erupted into stifled laughter. How could Xue Wanzhong endure such provocation? "You court death," he bellowed, clenching his fist and charging toward Fang Chen with the force of a thunderclap. With a sudden whisper of movement, Liu Qingxian slipped from Fang Chen's embrace. A flicker of past humiliation burned in her eyes as she declared, "You are not worthy to fight Fang Chen. I shall be your opponent." Fang Chen moved to stop her, but upon seeing the burning shame in her eyes, he instantly understood. Liu Qingxian was determined to avenge the day Xue Wanzhong had stolen the Swiftwind Pearl. Though he had already avenged this grievance on her behalf, he knew that some debts must be settled by one's own hand. For her heart's realm to be at peace, she had to claim this vengeance herself. Thus, he allowed her to draw her sword and advance. Xue Wanzhong sneered with utter contempt, "You, who have already fallen by my hand, dare to challenge me. Since you are so ignorant of death, I shall first beat you to within an inch of your life." The hearts of the onlookers leaped into their throats. Xue Wanzhong's power had surged immensely, while Liu Qingxian was merely at the first level of the Golden Core realm. How could she possibly be his match? However, in the very instant Liu Qingxian unleashed a strike of her sword, waves of astonished gasps rippled through the crowd. Sword of sundered light? As Liu Qingxian unleashed the devastating sword art, her true cultivation base was laid bare for all to witness. Astoundingly, she was at the third level of the Golden Core realm. Wasn't Liu Qingxian at the first level of the Golden Core realm just a month ago? What manner of immortal elixir did she consume to break through 2 entire levels in a single month? The third level of the Golden Core realm. Is that not enough to rank her among the top 5 heavenly prides across the lands of the 9 sects? Among those we know are Zhaoge, Liang Feiyan, and Jin Zhongming. Adding Xue Wanzhong to that list, she has truly entered the top 5. Nangong Zioi's eyes went wide, and she clasped her head with both hands, her expression one of utter disbelief. I must be seeing ghosts. After her own breakthrough to the Golden Core realm in the Green Cloud sect, she had made no progress for 2 months. Yet Liu Qingxian had suddenly advanced 2 levels in a single month. Wait! Her gaze, sharp as lightning, shot towards Fang Chen. If Liu Qingxian had experienced any extraordinary fortune this past month, it could only be Fang Chen's arrival in Sunset City. It was Fang Chen. He must have bestowed some immense fortuitous encounter upon her. Nangong Zioyan stomped her foot in vexation. The last time she visited the Green Cloud sect for a spar, Liu Qingxian had not even formed her golden core. Yet now, by associating with Fang Chen, she had soared to the heavens, reaching the 3rd level of the Golden Core realm. In stark contrast, she, who had enjoyed the finest resources of the Heavenly Mystery Pavilion, had only just reached the same realm. In terms of cultivation, Liu Qingxian had already surpassed her. The disciples present were thrown into a tumult, especially the female disciples, whose eyes burned red with envy. So it was Fang Chen's doing. It makes perfect sense. With his own power advancing at such a divine speed, how difficult would it be to elevate Liu Qingxian as well? What fortune must Liu Qingxian have accumulated over lifetimes to receive Fang Chen's favor? She basks in the admiration of the masses, while her cultivation soars to the heavens. I am dying of envy. The male disciples chimed in with sour jealousy. Never mind you female disciples, even I want to ask junior brother Fang if he might consider a romance. Between brothers. Liu Qingxian's tremendous leap in power gave even Xue Wanzhong a start. To reach the 3rd level of the Golden Core realm in such a fleeting span of time was truly astonishing. He quickly composed himself, however, sneering, "Your cultivation level may have risen, but your cultivation methods have surely failed to keep pace." He threw a thunderous punch, shattering the incoming sword Kai. Yet before a flicker of triumph could cross his face, Liu Qingxian unleashed her second technique, Sunrise over the Azure Sea. Xue Wanzhong's expression turned grave. He hastily executed the body arts of the giant sect, erupting with incomparably formidable power, and only then did he barely manage to dissipate the sword's might. "You are now worthy of crossing blades with me," Xue Wanzhong snarled, his voice a mixture of shame and fury. The very person he could once crush with ease was now able to match his blows. Her face an emotionless mask, Liu Qingxian unleashed her final sword art. Heaven and earth, stars descend. A violent, thunderous explosion rocked the entire arena. The very air before her churned like a boiling sea, while the surrounding ice and snow shattered into a fine, glittering dust that filled the sky. In that instant, the terrifying sword Kai of this world, shaking technique, lanced forth. Horror contorted Xue Wanzhong's features. With a low roar, he unleashed his power without hesitation. His muscles swelled grotesquely, and violet veins bulged across his skin like writhing serpents. His eyes turned crimson as a bloody aura enveloped him, his entire presence surging to the 4th level of the golden core realm. It is the bloodline of the ancient giants, impervious to a myriad of techniques, indestructible by water or fire. It is the bane of all mortal cultivators. And so it was. Heaven and earth, stars descend, the ultimate technique of the sword, hearts engraving, a strike that should have effortlessly pierced Xue Wanzhong, was shattered by the mysterious crimson aura around him, dissipating into nothing but aimless wisps of fragmented sword Kai. Shame turned to incandescent rage as Xue Wanzhong roared, "To think you would force me to activate the bloodline of the ancient giants. You wretched wench!" He could not tolerate it, being surpassed by a foe he had once so easily crushed, especially after his own physique had been so greatly enhanced. Fang Chen's eyes narrowed. This strike represented the absolute limit of Liu Qingxian's power. It was time for him to intervene. Yet Liu Qingxian remained unhurried. In a sudden shift, she altered her stance, grasping her longsword with both hands. Clear cry burst from her lips, origin of all creation. She and her sword became one, the woman becoming the blade, erupting with a blinding radiance that threatened to eclipse the very heavens. A searing pain stabbed at the eyes of the onlookers, rendering them momentarily blind. Only the experts at the elder level and above could dimly perceive the unfolding scene. A colossal, 100 yanked, all-phantom sword of pure white light soared into the firmament, its tip aimed wrathfully at the 9 heavens. More terrifying still, as Liu Qingxian brought her to, handed sword cleaving down towards Xue Wanzhong, the 100 Jiang phantom blade erupted with a dreadful might that made one's very soul tremble and descended with a cataclysmic roar. Terror washed over Xue Wanzhong's face as the 100 Jiang's sword phantom struck him in an instant. The mysterious crimson aura protecting his body disintegrated on impact. The sword had effortlessly shattered the protection of his ancient giant bloodline and now continued its cold, merciless descent upon his mortal form. *PFFT, the very instant the phantom blade's edge touched him, blood gushed from all 7 of Xue Wanzhong's orifices. If the strike were to be completed, his body would surely perish and his Dao be extinguished. His eyes threatening to split from their sockets in fury, Kong Yuanba let out a great roar. He surged forward with astonishing speed, using his own peerless form to intercept the fatal strike. As the sword phantoms dissipated, the crowd stared in shock. Half of Kong Yuanba's body was cleaved into the layer of ice, his robe shattered to ruin, his flesh a canvas of ghastly sword marks. Xue Wanzhong was even worse off, drenched in his own blood and lying unconscious upon the ground. A chasm, dozens of feet deep, scarred the earth for hundreds of feet more. A hushed silence fell upon the entire assembly. All eyes were fixed on Liu Qingxian, who stood with her sword in hand, and many could not help but swallow nervously. What manner of terrifying sword art was this? In terms of sheer might, it could rival the famed art of sword kinesis of the myriad sword sect. A cultivator at the 5th level of the golden core realm would have undoubtedly perished from such a strike. And this was with Liu Qingxian's cultivation at merely the 3rd level. If her realm were higher, the might of her sword art would be even more dreadful. Liu Qingxian glanced at the fallen Xue Wanzhong and let out a long breath, releasing the frustration in her heart. To challenge little Chen, she declared, "You are not yet worthy." With a graceful flourish of her sword, she returned to Fang Chen's side. Seeing the utter shock in his eyes, Liu Qingxian felt a wave of profound satisfaction and said proudly, "Have I impressed you? Do you see me in a new light now?" Fang Chen was truly stunned. He could comprehend the advancement in her cultivation. The mystic clam flesh had previously elevated her to the second level of the golden core realm, and its effects had not yet been fully absorbed. Coupled with her cultivation of the dragon, seeking scripture from the grand void divine tree, breaking through to the third level within a month was understandable. As for mastering the sword heart meteor, carving art to the stage of great completion, that was attributable not only to her own prodigious talent, but also to the insights he had shared with her. This, too, was comprehensible. What he could not fathom, however, was the origin of that mysterious and unfathomable sword strike she had just unleashed. To think you've cultivated such a formidable sword art, Fang Chen praised in amazement. In terms of might, it has already surpassed the first volume of the art of sword kinesis. Liu Qingxian became even more smug. Do you wish to learn it? Then you'll have to make me happy. And what will you call me? She teased, turning the tables on Fang Chen. With fond exasperation, Fang Chen pulled her into his embrace and whispered by her ear, "My lady, you're being mischievous." "My lady?" Liu Qingxian's body stiffened, a deep blush creeping up her lovely face to the very tips of her ears as her eyes began to glisten. She was like a boundless pond of emerald lotus leaves, where a gentle breeze suddenly reveals a single crimson blossom, beautiful in its infinite shyness. Those two simple words held an unparalleled power over her, forcing her immediate and unconditional surrender. Lowering her head in shyness, she murmured softly, I was only joking. Why did you actually say it? If you want to learn, I will teach you. This scene made the male disciples in the crowd clench their fists so hard they could have shattered. To win the heart of such a beauty was one thing, but for her to so obediently offer up a supreme sword art. You damnable man, you deserve death. Fang Chen laughed heartily and waved his hand. I don't wish to learn it, he said. I only wish to know, from where did you acquire this art? The might of this sword art was terrifying, and Fang Chen was indeed tempted. However, it was Liu Qingxian's unique technique. It was best that she alone cultivate it, and not pass it to anyone, lest it be leaked and its secrets deciphered by others. His concern lay with the origin of the sword art, and whether it carried any hidden dangers. Liu Qingxian concealed nothing from Fang Chen, whispering, I learned it in a dream. In a dream, Fang Chen was dumbfounded. How could one learn such an astonishing sword art in a dream? Liu Qingxian continued, Do you remember that day I was frozen unconscious? On the brink of death, I dreamt of a one-armed elder practicing his sword. The first few moves he executed were identical to the sword heart meteor, carving art you taught me. However, there were several more stances that followed, all of which seemed to belong to the same lineage as the sword heart meteor, carving art. I only managed to remember one of its forms, the origin of all things, but if it were you, little Chen, with your talent, perhaps you would have learned them all. A dream at the threshold of death, a one-armed elder practicing his sword, a more powerful sword art inheritance that followed the sword heart meteor, carving art. The amount of information was staggering. It seemed the sword heart meteor, carving art he had comprehended from the meteor. It was far from simple. What left Fang Chen at a loss for whether to laugh or cry was the realization that to learn the subsequent sword arts, one seemingly had to be on the verge of death to trigger the dream. Such a condition was far too harsh. Being on the verge of death implied a slow, lingering demise. In true mortal combat, most wounds were instantly fatal. An enemy would never grant you the opportunity to lie dying and dream. In the great battle of Boundary Mountain, for instance, how many disciples and elders had been slain in an instant, with no lingering state between life and death? Furthermore, even if one had the dream, one would still need to be rescued in the nick of time. And even if someone were fortunate enough to meet all these conditions, there was no guarantee the dream would be triggered. This was merely Liu Qingxian's speculation. Fang Chen said, This is a great fortuitous encounter that belongs to you. I can see that your sword art is not yet perfected and has several flaws. Therefore, you must never pass it to an outsider, lest they discover and exploit its weaknesses. Leaning into his embrace, Liu Qingxian said coquettishly, But I want to share it with you. What's mine is yours. You are so good to me, so I must also hold nothing back from you. Fang Chen gently patted her head, his heart filling with ever-growing affection for his considerate and warm-hearted senior sister. I already possess several unique skills, some of which I have yet to perfect. You understand the principle of not biting off more than one can chew. If I am fortunate enough to trigger the dream in the future, then I shall learn what I can. If it is not my destiny, I will not force it. Liu Qingxian pouted and, opening her mouth, gave his shoulder a playful bite. You scoundrel, she mumbled. You just want me to be indebted to you for a lifetime, to make it so I can never leave your side. This display of affection provoked a wave of discomfort across the entire audience. I feel sick. Give me back my sword. I'm going home. I'm done playing this game. I'm done. Even Liu Qingxian found their sweetness unbearable and quickly interrupted them. All right, that's enough. Let's continue counting the Beast King demonic cores. After that interlude, the remainder of the count seemed utterly unremarkable. Even when Zhaoge and Liang Feiyan presented a grand total of 50 Beast King demonic cores, it failed to elicit much amazement from the crowd. After all, with a precedent of 350 Beast King demonic cores, the spoils of all others paled in comparison, appearing dim and lackluster. A full half-day passed before the tally of the Beast King demonic cores was finally complete. Subsequently, the various tasks undertaken by the disciples of every sect over the past month were meticulously tallied. Ultimately, Yi Kangyuan exercised his authority and approved Lei Zhenhai's petition to recognize the meritorious deeds of the disciples who partook in the Great War of Boundary Mountain. Every single contribution was officially sanctioned. After a flurry of activity that stretched deep into the night, a complete roll of meritorious achievement was finally forged. Liu Qingxian proclaimed, "I shall announce only the top 10 ranks. The complete roll will be posted thereafter. Disciples may then check their standing and come forth in order to exchange their merits for resources." 10th place, Jin Zhongming, with 1,300 merit points. 9th place, Jai Ryu, with 1,400 merit points. 8th place, Nai Yunxi, with 1,700 merit points. 7th place, Lai Shiqian, with 1,800 merit points. 6th place, Zai Liashu, with 1,900 merit points. 5th place, Xue Wanzhong, with 2,000 merit points. 4th place, Aoyong Jun, with 2,200 merit points. 3rd place, Liang Feiyan, with 2,400 merit points. 2nd place, Zhaoge, with 2,800 merit points. This time, the announcement of the roll sparked no dispute, for every individual named had survived the cataclysmic Great War of Boundary Mountain. Each of them had been awarded a first-class merit, instantly granting them 1,000 merit points. Furthermore, Jian Linyuan and the other disciples of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion had distributed their own demonic beast cores amongst them, bestowing upon each survivor anywhere from several dozens of cores. Factoring in their efforts in hunting down the invading beast kings behind the lines, along with the myriad of tasks they had completed over the past month, their placement within the top 10 was entirely beyond question. The sole point of astonishment was Jin Zhongming's fall to the 10th position, ranking even below female disciples like Jai Ryu and Nai Yunxi, whose fame was not considered to be among the absolute peak. It was an outcome no one had foreseen. Kong Yuanba's countenance darkened as he growled, "Zhongming, how could you be so utterly useless?" Was Jin Zhongming not the second strongest expert, surpassed only by Zhaoge? How could he possibly have fallen to 10th place? Publicly rebuked once more, a dark shadow flickered deep within Jin Zhongming's eyes. He stated coldly, "Within the heaven-shattering gorge, Fang Chen left not a single demonic beast core for me." When the disciples of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion were bestowing the demonic beast cores, I received no share because I had not waited for Fang Chen. Is it truly so strange that I was surpassed by the others? Fang Chen again, Kong Yuanba raged. That whelp is deliberately setting himself against our giant sect. He had best pray the day never comes when he requires our aid. After a fleeting moment of elation, the disciples who had fought their way into the top 10 pricked up their ears, awaiting Liu Qingxian's announcement of the first place. That first place belonged to Fang Chen was a foregone conclusion. The 350 Beast King cores alone amounted to a staggering 7,000 merit points, leaving all contenders far behind in the dust. Combined with his innumerable contributions during the Great War, one could scarcely fathom the celestial heights his final merit score would reach. Liu Qingxian's own gaze was fixed upon the roll, his mouth turning to dust as he beheld the figure he himself had tallied next to Fang Chen's name. He immediately proclaimed first place with 17,000 merit points. Even Zhaoge, who held the second rank, could not maintain her serene composure. Her enchanting eyes quivered. 2,800 for me, and 17,000 for him. She fell into a momentary trance. Were their merits even judged by the same standard? Despite being the second ranked disciple, her total score did not even amount to a fraction of his. The others were utterly stupefied. A merit score of such magnitude was simply terrifying to behold. Even Nangong Zioyan could not help but gape, wondering if a colossal mistake had been made. Heavens above, and to think I warned him to watch out for his first place being stolen. The combined scores of the other 9 might not even reach his total. The very hand with which Liu Qingxian clutched the roll trembled, and he hastily began to explain the breakdown of Fang Chen's monumental achievements. For the 350 Beast King cores, a total of 7,000 merit points. For the collective first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. For discovering a vast quantity of lumber, a personal first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. For shattering the ice shelf and preventing the collapse of the first line of defense, a personal first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. For seizing the iron cudgel and successfully luring the tribulation lightning, a personal first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. For distributing numerous rejuvenation pills and spirit-replenishing elixirs, a personal first-class merit, 1,000 merit points. For commanding the tribulation lightning to annihilate the army of the dead, a personal special class merit, 5,000 merit points. For a grand total of 17,000 merit points. Liu Qingxian slapped his forehead. My apologies, I have miscalculated. Fang Chen previously completed the Hu Lake rescue mission, earning 500 merit points, plus the 250 he had remaining from last time. The corrected total of merit points is 17,750. The onlookers were rendered utterly stupefied. A mere recount had revealed an additional 700 points had been missed. The origin of every last merit point left them with no grounds for complaint. A first-class collective commendation and a special-class individual commendation, either one alone was utterly beyond reproach. With such a vast amount of merit, could he possibly spend it all? I dare not even imagine the legendary treasures he could redeem with that sum. Amidst the burning envy of the crowd, Liu Qingxian retrieved a tent from his spatial storage artifact. He ducked inside and announced, "We shall adhere to the old rules. Enter one by one according to your rank to select your resources. Fang Chen, you are first." A tempestuous wave surged in Fang Chen's heart. He had awaited the 3 talismans, each imbued with a strike of the nascent soul realm, for far too long. He immediately slipped into the tent. Liu Qingxian was already waiting with a smile, cradling a lustrous jade box in his palms. Resting silently within were 3 jade talismans, each one emanating an exceedingly potent spiritual pressure. The cost is 3,000 merit points. Fang Chen accepted them with trembling excitement. The very moment they touched his palm, an immense sense of security flooded his soul. With 3 nascent soul strike talismans in his possession, he could now move through the demonic beast territories with impunity. So long as he did not encounter a demonic emperor, he could retreat unscathed from any peril. There are many other fine treasures. Junior brother Fang, feel free to choose to your heart's content. Even Liu Qingxian's eyes burned with envy. Many of these resources brought from the treasury were treasures far beyond his own reach. Now, with 14,700 merit points still remaining, Fang Chen was free to select whatever he desired. Fang Chen's gaze swept eagerly across the dazzling array of treasures spread before him. Compared to the previous selection, the resources offered on this occasion were far rarer and more precious. He even spied a defensive magical artifact at the 9th layer of the Golden Core realm, its power comparable to the 3 copper coins gifted to him by Yu Yunzi. Even within the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, this was a monumental secret treasure, far beyond the grasp of ordinary individuals. It was an azure, wide-sleeved celestial flowing gown. Considering the great decisive battle that was soon to come, and knowing that Liu Qingxian lacked a defensive magical artifact, he redeemed it on the spot. 2,000 merit points. Liu Qingxian handed it to Fang Chen, a look of envy once again flickering in his eyes. The foremost chosen daughter of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion had long desired this treasured robe. Many a young prodigy had schemed and striven to accumulate the merits to claim it, hoping to win the fair lady's heart. Little did they expect that Fang Chen would be the one to seize the prize first. 12,700 merit points remained. Fang Chen nodded and resumed his search among the treasures. A thought stirred in his mind, and he discreetly retrieved a piece of amber. Sealed within it was a desiccated drop of soul formation essence blood. This was the very same drop he had plundered from the formidable demonic beast known as Xue Wanzhong in the sacred lands of the giant Sect. This drop of soul formation essence blood could sense the presence of other blood from the soul formation realm. At this moment, it began to shimmer faintly, having unexpectedly reacted to something nearby. This caused Fang Chen's heart to pound. Could it be? Have I truly found more soul formation essence blood so easily? Clasping the amber, he began to search among the piles of treasures. As he approached a mound of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, its glow intensified dramatically. He pushed aside the rare materials and discovered a jade casket buried beneath them. Affixed to the jade casket were several rather precious talismans designed to seal away spiritual auras. The talismans themselves were worth hundreds of merit points each. Peering through the translucent jade of the casket, he could see a tattered and ancient tome with a 5-colored cover lying within. "What is this? Why is it sealed so meticulously?" Fang Chen asked, his curiosity piqued. How could an ancient tome trigger a reaction from the desiccated soul formation essence blood? Liu Qingxian followed his gaze and chuckled aloud. Junior brother Fang has a truly discerning eye to have immediately chosen the treasure second only to the spatial storage artifact. He carefully lifted the jade box and explained, "This is an ancient tome excavated from a ruin that dates back 500 years. Upon appraisal, it was determined that its contents were inscribed by a supreme expert of the soul formation realm, using their very essence blood." The pavilion master surmised that this great senior of the soul formation realm, knowing their demise was imminent, spared no cost, expending their lifeblood to record their legacy. It is precisely due to the immense power of the soul formation realm essence blood sustaining it that this ancient tome has survived the passage of 500 years. Otherwise, an ordinary tome would have succumbed to the elements, rotting away in less than a year. Fang Chen's pupils constricted, a legacy from the soul formation realm. His heart surged with an irresistible urge. Yet, he quickly sensed that something was amiss and calmly stated, "Is the pavilion master not being overly generous? Offering the legacy of a soul formation realm expert as a reward to disciples is illogical, no matter how you consider it. To possess such a legacy and not cultivate it oneself, but to instead pass it on so casually to disciples. Moreover, a legacy from the soul formation realm is not something that can be exchanged for any amount of merit points." Liu Qingxian smiled faintly. "Junior brother Fang, this ancient tome is a tantalizing yet useless prize. It is true that it is the legacy of a soul formation realm expert, but no one has ever been able to decipher its contents. The pavilion master himself studied it for a lifetime and failed to grasp its secrets. Thus, he placed it among the redeemable treasures, hoping that should a fated individual appear, they might claim it." This explanation was plausible. Fang Chen, his interest piqued, asked, "How many merit points does it cost?" Liu Qingxian appeared slightly embarrassed. "Not that many, just 10,000 merit points." Fang Chen's eyes widened in disbelief. 10,000 is not that many. Besides Fang Chen, who else could possibly gather such a vast sum of merit points? It seemed the pavilion master was, after all, unwilling to truly part with it. A price of 10,000 merit points showed a complete lack of sincerity. But Liu Qingxian countered with a wry smile. "For all its mysteries, it is still a legacy from the soul formation realm. 10,000 merit points is an immense devaluation of its true worth." That was also true. Still, it was an exorbitant price, and Fang Chen was loath to part with his points. Yet, the allure of a legacy from the soul formation realm was a temptation almost impossible to resist. "May I open it and take a look?" Fang Chen asked. Liu Qingxian hesitated for a moment before replying, "Theoretically, that is forbidden. It is a book, after all. If one were to read it and memorize its contents, how would that be any different from taking it? But since it is you, junior brother Fang, I shall make an exception. I will allow you to view a single page." Fang Chen said gratefully, "Many thanks, Commissioner Liu." Unlike other treasures, tomes were a special case. To gaze upon their contents was to acquire their value. Thus, it was only natural to forbid any viewing. That Liu Qingxian was willing to allow him a glimpse of a single page was already a show of exceptional favor. As Liu Qingxian cautiously broke the seal, a terrifying aura that could chill one to the bone surged from the narrow opening. Liu Qingxian glanced cautiously outside the tent and whispered, "Vice Pavilion Master, he is just outside. If too much of this ancient tome's aura leaks out, he will undoubtedly detect it. Junior brother Fang, you must be swift." Fang Chen nodded, channeling profound energy into his eyes. The moment Liu Qingxian opened the jade casket and turned to the first page, Fang Chen's gaze swept over it, absorbing everything in an instant. In a mere 3 breaths' time, Liu Qingxian hurriedly snapped the book shut, closed the jade casket, and reapplied the seal. He then glanced carefully outside, and, seeing that Yi Kengyuan had not entered, let out a slight sigh of relief. With a cryptic smile, he asked, "So, what did you see?" A strange, inscrutable expression crossed Fang Chen's face, and he said nothing. As if anticipating this very reaction, Liu Qingxian chuckled. "You saw only a blinding 5-colored radiance, unable to discern anything else, did you not?" It turned out that every commissioner had secretly peeked at the tome, but like the pavilion master, all they could perceive was a brilliant 5-colored light. Beyond that, the pages of the ancient tome were utterly blank. Every person who has seen this ancient tome shared your curiosity, eager to see if they, perhaps, could discern what the pavilion master could not. In the end, the result was the same for all. He set down the jade casket and chuckled. It is best to abandon all hope. If there were but the slightest sliver of a chance to decipher this tome, the pavilion master would never have brought it out. Just consider it an experience, junior brother Fang. In the future, you can boast that you are a man who has laid eyes upon a soul formation realm legacy. Haha. Fang Chen's expression grew even more inscrutable. After a long silence, he thought to himself that what he had seen in the ancient tome was not a 5-colored radiance, but a distinct image, the pattern of a small, brilliantly colored mountain. And this small mountain, he could not be more familiar with it, for it was the very one that rested within his heavenly thunderstone. What he had seen was none other than the 5-element magnetic mountain. Perhaps because he had already refined the 5-element magnetic mountain, the 5-colored radiance only obscured his vision for a heartbeat before scattering, revealing the true image on the page. The master of this ancient tome was, in all likelihood, the previous owner of the 5-element magnetic mountain, the divine sovereign of 5 elements. In his time, he had relied on the 5-element magnetic mountain to vanquish all the supreme experts in the world, ascending all the way to the soul formation realm and becoming a titan of his age. For reasons unknown, the spatial necklace that held the 5-element magnetic mountain was lost, only to be discovered by the founding patriarch of the Thousand Refinements Sect. Meanwhile, the legacy cultivation method from the very place he passed on was discovered by the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. Now, through a strange twist of fate, Fang Chen had come to possess both the 5-element magnetic mountain and its corresponding legacy, finally allowing him to unravel its profound secrets. Junior brother Fang, you want this ancient tome. Liu Qingxian was startled, but you just saw it, did you not? It is a thing that simply cannot be comprehended. To spend 10,000 merit points on such a thing, is that not complete madness? He found it utterly incomprehensible. If Fang Chen had acquired it without having read the ancient texts, one might call it a hopeful gamble. Yet, Fang Chen had clearly read them. A glint flashed in Fang Chen's eyes as he spoke. To encounter a legacy from the soul formation realm is a rare destiny. How could I rest content without delving into its every secret? Furthermore, he continued, should I truly fail to uncover its mysteries, I can always offer it to the venerated elders of the 9 sects. It will surely fetch a worthy price. Liu Qingxian was rendered speechless, left only to lament that possessing such a wealth of merit points truly allowed for such willfulness. Helpless, he conceded, very well. Since junior brother Fang is so insistent on this exchange, then take it. As he handed the jade casket to Fang Chen, he sighed, you have but 2,750 merit points remaining. See if there is anything else you require. Fang Chen's gaze swept across the treasures once more, and he was suddenly struck by the sight of an azure longsword. To his astonishment, its rank was that of a peak-grade magical artifact. The Heavenly Secrets Pavilion is truly a trove of wonders, Fang Chen exclaimed in awe. Across the vast lands of the 9 sects, only 2 such peak-grade magical artifacts were known to exist, and one was wielded by the Sword King, Xue Qingxian. And yet, here in the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, one was presented as a mere item for exchange. His thoughts turned to Liu Qingxian. To not pair her with a blade of equal magnificence would be a disservice to the profound teachings imparted to her in that ethereal dream. What is its price? Fang Chen asked, taking the sword in hand. With a single swing, he felt its unparalleled sharpness and vibrant spiritual essence. If he were to unleash the origin of all creation with this blade, its might would surge by a full 30%. Even a master at the 6th level of the Golden Core realm would struggle to withstand that world-shaking strike. This sword is named Azure Void. Its price is 3,000 merit points. Liu Qingxian was at a loss for words. Fang Chen possessed only 2,750 merit points, falling short by a little over 200. Had he not been so extravagant just moments ago, would he now face this predicament? A true pity, Fang Chen lamented, reluctantly setting the magnificent blade down. Seeing how deeply Fang Chen coveted the blade, Liu Qingxian hesitated for a moment before saying with a pained expression, Fine, fine, take it. I shall cover the remaining merit points for you. 250 merit points. He would need to journey to, and from the 9 sects, a dozen times over, to reclaim such a sum. A smile graced Fang Chen's lips. My thanks, attendant Liu. With that, he gratefully accepted the Azure Void sword. His merit points were utterly depleted, and he was now indebted to Liu Qingxian for over 200 more. The price paid for that ancient tome was truly immense. This being the case, he had no choice but to withdraw from the pavilion and allow the others to make their selections. As he was about to depart, his eyes fell upon a thick bundle of ancient tomes in a corner. There were more than 30 volumes, haphazardly bound together with coarse rope. When stacked, the pile stood even taller than Fang Chen. Fang Chen glanced at the topmost volume. Its cover was adorned with strange, crooked script, clearly not of human origin. "What manner of cultivation method is this?" Fang Chen asked in astonishment. Liu Qingxian followed his gaze and remarked with indifference, "Those are merely linguistic records of the various races." Fang Chen was taken aback. Linguistic records of the various races? Why would the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion possess such things? Liu Qingxian casually drew out a volume. As he opened it, the scent of decay and ancient dust filled the air, a testament to its immense age. He explained casually, a millennium ago, the myriad races formed an alliance to resist the ancient giants. However, the chasm between their languages proved to be a great impediment to communication. And so, the sages of each race compiled 30 sets of linguistic guides for the primary races, ushering in a miraculous age where the 10,000 races could communicate without barrier. Among all those races, only we humans have maintained a complete cultural legacy. The other races care little for such matters. Their copies of these linguistic records have long since vanished into the river of time. Only the human race has preserved these ancient materials. Fang Chen's heart skipped a beat. He recalled the legacy he had received from the half-demonic beast Senior Liu Qingxian, the Brahma Saint True Spirit Art. However, it was inscribed entirely in the script of the demonic beast race, rendering it completely indecipherable to him. In addition, the silver scroll of demonic alchemy he had acquired long ago also remained a mystery, its secrets locked away by the same linguistic barrier. For the longest time, he had desired to master the script of the demonic beast race. This collection, compiled by the ancient sages, would surely contain the very key to the demonic beast tongue. Alas, with his merit points exhausted, he could only wait for another opportunity. With a heart full of regret, Fang Chen bid his farewell and departed from the pavilion. Finding Liu Qingxian waiting just outside, Fang Chen presented the azure robes and the azure void sword to her. "These are for you." A look of delighted surprise bloomed on Liu Qingxian's face. She had spent the better part of the month in arduous, secluded cultivation, undertaking few missions. As a result, her merit points were tragically scarce. She never imagined that Fang Chen would have so thoughtfully selected 2 such precious gifts for her. When she perceived the true nature of the gifts, she gasped in shock. A set of defensive treasure robes capable of withstanding an attack from the peak of the Golden Core realm, and this is a peak-grade magical sword. The delight on her face instantly gave way to reproach. "Why would you give these to me? What about yourself?" With such priceless treasures, Fang Chen could have acquired a great many wondrous items for his own use. Fang Chen simply smiled. "If you do not want them, I suppose I could find another to gift them to. After all, they cannot be returned." A mist of tears began to well up in Liu Qingxian's eyes. 2 of the absolute top-tier magical artifacts in the lands of the 9 Sect, aside from Fang Chen, who else would be willing to gift them to her? And all of this was under the premise that they had not even established a formal romantic relationship. She silently embraced Fang Chen and said softly, "Little Chen, do not treat me so exceedingly well. I fear I will never be able to repay you." Fang Chen smiled and gently rubbed the back of her hand. "Silly girl. You were willing to throw your very life away for me. What does gifting you a few items count for? Let us find a place to test these 2 magical artifacts." Liu Qingxian nodded. Under the envious gazes of countless female disciples, she accompanied Fang Chen as they walked far away. Liu Qingxian truly has a blessed fate. Possessing such supreme offensive and defensive magical artifacts, Liu Qingxian is likely second only to Zhaoge among our peers. I wager it will not be long before she surpasses Zhaoge to become the #1 chosen daughter of heaven among the 9 sects. Zhaoge stood quietly, gazing at the receding backs of Fang Chen and Liu Qingxian as they walked shoulder to shoulder. From her heart, normally as placid as an ancient well, a faint trace of inexplicable melancholy unexpectedly welled up. It was not until Liu Qingxian's reminder that she snapped back to reality, stepping into the tent. "You are Zhaoge, correct. Look around as you please. With your 2,000, plus merit points, you can exchange them for quite a bounty of resources." Zhaoge gave a slight nod. Sweeping her gaze across the room, she discovered a thick stack of ancient tomes resting in the corner. "What is this?" Liu Qingxian replied, "These are reference texts on the languages of various races, not some cultivation method. Zhaoge lost interest. Suddenly, she heard Liu Qingxian chuckle lightly. Your taste is somewhat similar to Junior Brother Fang's. Both of you took notice of these books. However, Junior Brother Fang had already exhausted his merit points. If he wishes to purchase these books, he can only wait until next time. Zhaoge's elegant brows arched slightly. She began to re-examine the ancient tomes before her. A glimmer of bright light surfaced in her eyes. Junior Brother Fang wants this. Liu Qingxian nodded. Although he did not say it aloud, one could easily see his profound regret. Zhaoge immediately asked, "How many merit points?" Liu Qingxian was stunned. "You want this? I highly advise you to choose something else. These are outdated old documents of little value, but because they are ancient texts from a millennium ago, their merit point cost is exceptionally high, requiring a full 3,000 merit points. 3,000, she only possessed 2,800 merit points. After a moment of thought, she pulled the hairpin from her head. Glancing at it with deep reluctance, she asked, "Commissioner Liu, this hairpin is a high-grade magical artifact. Could I exchange it here for 200 merit points?" Liu Qingxian froze for a moment, gazing at the hairpin. A look of sheer astonishment appeared on his face. "Such supreme quality, it appears to be a relic from beyond our domain. Exchanging it for 1,000 merit points would be more than sufficient." Zhaoge shook her head and said, 200 is enough. I solely wish to exchange for these books." Commissioner Liu hesitated, then said, "This hairpin of yours is an old keepsake. It must have been with you for quite a few years, right? Selling it just to trade for these books. Are you absolutely certain?" Zhaoge took one final look at the hairpin in her hand, a flicker of reluctance flashing through her eyes. This was a parting gift given to her by an older brother figure when she left home alone all those years ago. She cherished it deeply, keeping it by her side at all times. Yet now, she was offering it to exchange for a mere book. Zhaoge replied softly. The hairpin remained in the tent, while the ancient tomes departed alongside Zhaoge. Within the hidden dimension, Liu Qingxian clicked her tongue in wonder, inspecting this mysterious space littered with primordial armaments. "There is no one else here. Feel free to test the two magical artifacts to your heart's content." Fang Chen chuckled lightly. Picking a secluded corner for himself, he brought out the ancient tome with the 5-colored cover. Upon tearing off the seal, that terrifying, oppressive aura descended once more. Fang Chen's body swayed, nearly knocked off balance by the immense impact. The soul formation realm, truly, is an existence akin to terrestrial immortals. Even after being dead for 500 years, their remaining dried blood can still exude such overwhelming pressure. He dared not imagine what kind of heavenly might and suffocating pressure a true soul formation realm expert would project if they stood before him. Fang Chen clicked his tongue in awe. Then he carefully turned to the very first page. Just as before, a 5-colored radiance momentarily obscured his vision. The next instant it dispersed, revealing the sigil of the 5-magnetic elemental mountain. However, there was only a single sigil and no accompanying script, leaving one utterly baffled. Flipping through the subsequent pages, he found that each one bore the very same sigil of the 5-magnetic elemental mountain. At this, Fang Chen's heart leaped into his throat. Could it be that he had spent a staggering 10,000 merit points only to obtain a useless tome? After a moment of profound contemplation, he retrieved the 5-magnetic elemental mountain from within the scythe under stone. The moment the 5-magnetic elemental mountain appeared, the sigil upon the book began to transform. The sigil on the first page blurred, melting into a 5-colored ink that writhed as if alive, coalescing upon the paper into 4 great characters, 5 elements divine art. The weight in Fang Chen's heart finally lifted, his eyes gleaming with an irrepressible excitement. Indeed, this tome concealed a profound mystery. Not only could ordinary methods fail to pierce the 5-colored light and perceive the sigil, but even if one were fortunate enough to glimpse it, they would still require the 5-magnetic elemental mountain to truly unlock its secrets. To obtain the legacy of the 5 elements divine sovereign, both the cultivation method and the 5-magnetic elemental mountain were indispensable. He eagerly turned to the second page. The sigil upon it immediately melted as well, reforming into new characters. 5 ethereal flowing essences. A heaven-rank cultivation method. They were the ethereal flowing heaven essence, the ethereal flowing earth essence, the ethereal flowing thunder essence, the ethereal flowing fire essence, and the ethereal flowing wind essence. Fang Chen's heart pounded violently in his chest as he read. It was yet another heaven-rank cultivation method. including the great divination sword formation from the Grand Void Ancient Tree and the 6 Scythe undertomes within the Thunder Progenitor Token. This was the third heaven, rank cultivation method Fang Chen had ever encountered. However, the former required him to break through to the nascent soul realm before he could pluck it from the ancient tree. As for the 6 Scythe undertomes from the Thunder Progenitor Token, he had only come across a fragmented scroll of one of the 6 parts, the shadow in the clouds. Only this 5 ethereal flowing essences before him was a complete and unabridged version. With eyes blazing with fervor, he turned to the next page. It is said that in primeval times, the ancient immortals forged the heavens and the earth. Their bodies became the land, their blood the rivers and seas, their breath the winds and clouds, their bones the oars of the earth, their eyes the sun and moon, and their hair the myriad forests. Though I am unworthy, I dared to emulate the will of the ancient immortals. After a century of seeking, I must shamefully admit my limited talent prevented me from achieving their power of transforming oneself into a world. I could only create this minor art, leaving it for posterity to mock. Therefore, this art is named the 5 ethereal flowing essences, for it gathers the 5 powers of wind, thunder, fire, earth, and heaven into a single whole. As the heavens possess the power of the 5 elements, so too do these 5 powers flow ceaselessly within my body, forming a world unto itself. Fang Chen was utterly stupefied. What monumental ambition the 5 elements' divine sovereign possessed, to dare emulate the world, creating ancient immortals, and transform his very being into a cosmos. And though he failed in the process, he succeeded in cultivating the power of the 5 elements within his own body. These 5 powers cycled endlessly within him, forming a microcosm, a small world that mirrored the macrocosm of the great world outside. This small world within the body was called the ethereal heaven, and the 5 flowing essences that circulated within it were thus known as the 5 ethereal flowing essences. What manner of peerless prodigy could have created such a heaven-defying cultivation method? He continued to read. With the 5 ethereal flowing essences, one can conquer all under heaven. When the 5 essences merge as one, and the ethereal heaven reaches grand completion, one becomes invincible in this world. Fang Chen felt his heart drumming wildly against his ribs. The power of the 5 ethereal flowing essences far surpassed his wildest expectations. Merely mastering one of them would grant the invincible might to dominate an entire region of the world. His mouth was dry, but he could not stop himself from reading on. However, after finishing, his expression darkened. To master each of the 5 ethereal flowing essences to the stage of grand completion, one actually needed to cultivate the very origin of its corresponding element: wind, thunder, fire, earth, and heaven. Currently, he had only cultivated a thunder element cultivation method, and had achieved a decent level of skill, so much so that even Lei Zhen, I had wanted to poach him for the Scythe, under Sect. Fang Chen's meager attainments in the Tao of Thunder were far from mastery, let alone touching upon its origin. This heaven, rank cultivation method, it truly wasn't meant for mortals to cultivate. Fang Chen remarked with bitterness. Still, having obtained it through such difficulty, I must at least attempt to cultivate it. Even with his prodigious comprehension, this heaven, rank cultivation method was exceedingly difficult to assimilate. It took him 3 full days and nights just to grasp the fundamental principles of the 5 essences. With a flash of enlightenment, he began to cultivate the void, stream thunder force. The frenzied lightning power rampaging within his body, upon the circulation of the cultivation method, grew astonishingly docile. It all converged around his dantian. Then, with a mere thought from Fang Chen, the lightning transformed, becoming a form of his own vital energy, an intrinsic part of his being, much like one's own strength rather than an external power. With a light tap of his foot, a miraculous scene unfolded. In that very instant, he dissolved into a flash of lightning, teleporting 200 zhang away. Fang Chen gazed back at the spot where he had just stood, his eyes wide with utter disbelief. Even at perfect mastery, the first layer of the heavenly Thunder's 6 parts, shadow in the clouds, only permitted a teleportation of 100 zhang. Moreover, it demanded the consumption of a vast amount of lightning power to achieve. Now, having transmuted the lightning into an intrinsic part of his own power, the efficacy of his thunder techniques had not only doubled, but the consumption of thunder force had plummeted by a factor of 10. With his previous reserves of lightning power, Fang Chen could not even muster enough to teleport the full 100 zhang of shadow in the clouds. A mere 50 zhang, and his lightning power would be utterly exhausted, bringing him to an abrupt halt. But now, everything had changed. With the lightning power integrated as his own innate force, the expenditure was vastly more efficient. It was now sufficient for him to unleash the empowered shadow in the clouds 10 consecutive times. Furthermore, it was likely that the doubled efficacy was not limited to shadow in the clouds alone. The Thunder Dragon Lightning Kick and the 5 Thunders Rectifying Heaven Palm from the 3 Purities Thunder Shadow Technique. Their might must have also doubled. Fang Chen's heart surged with an excitement so profound he could scarcely believe it was real. He had only just scratched the surface of cultivating the void, stream thunder force, far from achieving true mastery, yet the effects were already so heaven-defying. To master a single force is to grasp the world. Such words were truly no empty boast. Little did he know that in a distant, outer realm, an ancient palace floated amidst the cosmos. Its foundation was forged from 5 colored heavenly lightning, its canopy was the sun and moon hanging high above, and its tiles were the myriad stars of the firmament. Rank upon rank of peerless experts stood suspended in the void, flanking the palace with solemn reverence. At that very moment, from within the profound depths of the palace, a pair of eyes abruptly opened. Terrifying arcs of lightning shot forth from those eyes as a voice boomed, "Who is cultivating the void? Stream thunder force." The voice, like the very might of the heavens, caused the river of stars to tremble. Outside the hall, the experts floating in the void all dropped to one knee in terror. "Young Emperor, we beseech you to quell your divine wrath." From within the ancient palace, the master of the lightning eyes spoke with chilling indifference, Feng Zini. Instantly, a figure exuding a terrifyingly powerful aura materialized before the grand hall. He stood 7 kai tall, his figure imposing and majestic, a black cape billowing fiercely in the astral winds. Behind his head, a golden divine halo radiated a serene, brilliant light. A divine halo, the mark of a master who had reached the legendary soul formation realm. Upon his very appearance, the void, walking experts on either side trembled, unable to even lift their gaze to look upon him. Venerable Zini, a titan of the soul formation realm. He knelt upon one knee, bowing his proud head toward the ancient palace. "Your subordinate is present. I await the young emperor's command." From within the ancient palace, a cold, indifferent voice echoed forth. "In a remote corner of the taking expanse, someone is cultivating the void, stream thunder force. Find him." "Yes," replied Feng Zini. Just as he was about to depart, the young emperor's voice sounded once more. "And retrieve the 5 magnet origin mountain." Feng Zini faded like a phantom, vanishing on the spot. From the ancient palace, a detached murmur could be heard. In all of creation, only one is permitted to cultivate the void, stream thunder force, and that one is. Fang Chen continued to cultivate the void, stream thunder force for several more days, yet he made no further breakthroughs. "It seems," he mused, "that I must comprehend more thunder techniques to cultivate a greater amount of the void, stream thunder force." Fang Chen sighed softly to himself. Yet, cultivation methods of the lightning Tao were far from easy to master. Be it the 3 pure thunder shadows or the 6 heavenly thunder divisions, both demanded a formidable power of lightning to sustain. The thunder tribulations that descended from the heavens were something Fang Chen's mortal frame could never hope to endure. A single stray bolt from a tribulation could obliterate him, leaving not even a speck of bone dust behind. He needed treasures that contained the lingering might of heavenly thunder, such as the feathers of a silva, winged thunder rock, heavenly thunderstones, or wood from a lightning, scorched tree. But these were treasures of destiny, found only by chance and never through searching. "Little Chen, a senior sister is here to see you." The call of Liu Qingxian echoed from the entrance of the cave. Fang Chen had been immersed in arduous cultivation for days. After testing 2 magical artifacts, Liu Qingxian dared not linger and disturb him, so she had gone to the Boundary Mountain to assist the disciples of the various sects in fortifying their defenses, preparing for the final, cataclysmic war between the 2 races. Yet now, she had suddenly returned with a visitor. A senior sister. Fang Chen was puzzled. Liu Qingxian knew he was in the midst of his cultivation. It was unlike her to bring someone to disturb him so lightly. As he stepped out from the cave, his gaze shifted and fell upon a voluptuous woman clad in a wine-red gown. Her figure was alluring, and her eyes shimmered with a captivating charm. Fang Chen rushed forward in an instant, pulling Liu Qingxian away and frantically inspecting her from head to toe. "What are you doing?" Being checked all over by Fang Chen sent waves of crimson blush across Liu Qingxian's face. Fang Chen, however, insisted on checking her thoroughly. Only after confirming she was unharmed did he pull her halfway behind him, shielding her. His gaze fell coldly upon the woman before them as he declared, "Qingxian, stay far from this venomous viper of a woman. She is no righteous soul." The visitor was none other than Wu Manyue. "Junior brother Fang, your words wound this senior sister's heart so. I journeyed 1,000 li, all the way from Sunset City, just for you." Wu Manyue cupped her ample bosom with her left hand and her pale cheek with her right, affecting a look of pitiful grievance. Liu Qingxian froze for a moment, then asked with suspicion, "Little Chen, is there some misunderstanding between you and senior sister Wu?" "Senior sister Wu is a good person. It was she who spared no cost to deliver the message, allowing Sunset City to learn of the war at the Boundary Mountain in time. Everyone held Wu Manyue's sacrifice in high esteem. To make such a great sacrifice, just to deliver urgent military intelligence ahead of time, was a feat few others could have accomplished." Fang Chen scoffed. About that matter, he had no retort. But he knew well the truth of Wu Manyue's character. "Regardless of what she has done, it is best to keep your distance from her," Fang Chen said. Liu Qingxian considered this. Fang Chen never slandered others without cause. If he harbored such animosity toward Wu Manyue, then she was surely a problematic character. She replied without hesitation, "Very well, I will be cautious." Wu Manyue watched this unfold and tutted, "Junior brother Fang, you truly have a way with women. To think that junior sister Liu, the foremost beauty of the 9 sects, is so utterly beguiled by you. She believes every word that falls from your lips." Liu Qingxian frowned. "I do not need little Chen to beguile me. I simply trust in his character." "Is that so?" A mischievous smile played upon Wu Manyue's lips. "Then how is it that I heard, at the end of the great battle on the Boundary Mountain, junior brother Fang was weeping sorrowfully while holding Zhaoge? Junior brother Fang adores you so. Tell me, has he ever shed a single tear for you?" Liu Qingxian's body trembled. She could hardly believe that Fang Chen would shed tears for another woman. A profound bitterness flooded her heart. She struggled to control her expression, saying, "Little Chen's feelings for me are true. That is enough. Do not try to sow discord." Wu Manyue's enchanting eyes, as if they could pierce the very soul, held a mocking smile. "Then why does your heart ache so now?" Liu Qingxian retorted in vexation, "Who is aching? Have my words struck true, turning your shame to fury?" Wu Manyue laughed ceaselessly, the ample bosom cradled in her arms trembling with each wave of mirth. Liu Qingxian clenched her fists, her eyes blazing with a fury she could not unleash. Fang Chen patted the back of her hand and stated calmly, "What she says is true." Liu Qingxian gently bit her red lip, feeling as though a needle had pierced her heart. "You didn't have to say it." But immediately after, Fang Chen added, "However, she only told half the truth. Zhaoge blocked the demon moon priest's fatal strike to save me. I thought she had perished, which is why I felt such remorse and sorrow. So that is the truth of the matter." Liu Qingxian's heart instantly cleared, like dark clouds parting to reveal the bright moon. A man as kind-hearted as Fang Chen naturally could not help but grieve when someone died for his sake. Yet, in Wu Manyue's maliciously truncated tale, it was twisted into a romantic affair between Fang Chen and Zhaoge. "You wicked woman!" Liu Qingxian exclaimed in anger. She finally understood why Fang Chen had called this woman a venomous snake and a scorpion. With mere words, she had easily incited her emotions. Such a person was truly terrifying. "So, what if I'm wicked?" Wu Manyue shrugged with a light chuckle. "I was never a good person to begin with. Your man is not much better than I am. You would do well to keep your guard up around him too." Still trying to sow discord, Liu Qingxian was furious. She pressed a hand onto her sword hilt, cold intent surging in her eyes. Fang Chen waved his hand, stopping her from attacking. Wu Manyue possessed an array of bizarre and treacherous methods. Liu Qingxian might not necessarily gain the upper hand. "Wu Manyue, you sought me out specifically. Surely not just to provoke a rift between Liu Qingxian and me. This woman was a creature driven entirely by profit. She would not waste her time on such trivial matters." Wu Manyue smiled as beautifully as a blooming flower, and giggled coyly. "Junior brother Fang truly understands my heart best. If you do not mind, I can be your woman as well. Your senior sister has never allowed a man to touch her. Consider it a boon for yourself." Seeing Fang Chen remain entirely expressionless and completely unmoved by her seduction, she was not angered. "Never mind. Now that you have the number 1 beauty of the 9 sects by your side, the novelty is still fresh. Whenever you grow tired of her, you are welcome to seek out your senior sister." Just as Liu Qingxian was about to lose control and draw her sword on this shameless woman, the other party suddenly put on a serious expression and said, "Junior brother Fang, the Heavenly Secret Pavilion has assigned me a mission and formed a special task squad. I hope you will join." Fang Chen refused without a second thought, not interested. When teaming up with Wu Manyue, the greatest danger would likely not be the enemies, but her. Wu Manyue was not surprised in the least, and replied, "Before you refuse, why not hear the rewards for this mission? I believe you will definitely be tempted." Wu Manyue spoke with absolute confidence. If successful, all disciples who execute the mission will be permitted to head to the Heavenly Secret Pavilion and undergo cultivation once at the very spot where the Pavilion Master broke through to the nascent soul realm. Fang Chen raised a brow. "What kind of reward is that?" Wu Manyue said profoundly, "When the Pavilion Master broke through to the nascent soul realm, he received the baptism of heaven and earth. Though many years have passed, a trace of that profound baptismal Kai still lingers at the site of his breakthrough. For martial artists at the grand completion of the 9th level of the Golden Core realm, it is a treasured land to comprehend the heavenly tribulation and increase their chances of a breakthrough. For those of us in the early or middle stages of the Golden Core realm, it is a blessed land to receive baptism. We might even break through to the next realm." Fang Chen clicked his tongue in awe. To think that the breakthrough sight of a nascent soul realm expert would be so miraculous. Just how powerful was a nascent soul realm expert themselves? It truly did tempt him. However, the danger of teaming up with Wu Manyue could not be ignored. Seeing Fang Chen's hesitation, Wu Manyue had no choice but to confess, "Of course, there is also danger." When the Pavilion Master broke through to the nascent soul realm, he was bombarded by the tribulation lightning of heaven and earth. Some of that dangerous tribulation lightning still remains there. But with the elders of the Heavenly Secret Pavilion protecting us, it shouldn't be a major issue. Tribulation lightning. Casting aside his remaining hesitation, Fang Chen asked decisively, "When do we set out?" Wu Manyue was stunned. Why was it that the moment she mentioned danger, Fang Chen agreed so readily, even seeming somewhat impatient to begin? Suspicion gleamed in her eyes. Her intuition told her that Fang Chen was harboring ulterior motives. Nevertheless, Fang Chen's agreement was for the best. This mission would be fraught with peril and required a formidable helper. Fang Chen was undoubtedly the indispensable candidate. In 3 days. As for the mission details, they remain strictly confidential for now. They will only be revealed upon our departure. Wu Manyue cast a guarded glance at Liu Qingxian as she spoke with caution. "In 3 days. Fang Chen gave a slight nod and asked, "How great is the peril?" Wu Manyue did not answer directly. "Regardless, make as many preparations as you possibly can." With those words, she swayed her slender, serpentine waist and departed, humming a cheerful little melody. "Little Chen, must you truly go?" Liu Qingxian asked, her voice laced with worry. She could not bear to let Fang Chen endure such immense danger again. Fang Chen mused for a moment before replying, "There is no need to worry too much. The missions issued by the Heavenly Mystery Pavilion are always tailored to the strength of its disciples. Barring unforeseen accidents, they rarely pose a fatal threat. Extreme perils, such as the Great Battle of Boundary Mountain, are even more unlikely to occur." Liu Qingxian pondered this, and her restless heart found a sliver of peace. There was indeed truth in his reasoning. Since the missions were tailor-made for the disciples, the difficulty would naturally align with their strength. Otherwise, should so many elite disciples perish, the Heavenly Mystery Pavilion itself would suffer a grievous blow. Then prepare yourself thoroughly over these next few days. I shall not disturb you." Liu Qingxian agreed, her delicate face etched with bitter resignation. Upon returning to Boundary Mountain, Fang Chen discovered that in the mere days of his absence, the mountain had undergone earth-shaking changes. Martial warriors from various sects had converged, their numbers swelling into the thousands, each harboring profound strength. The summit of Boundary Mountain was now packed shoulder to shoulder, bustling like a lively mortal marketplace. After bidding Fang Chen farewell, Liu Qingxian slipped into the sea of people and vanished from sight. So many experts gathered, yet their ranks were still incomplete. This sight bolstered his confidence immensely for the impending decisive battle. Meanwhile, upon the slopes of Boundary Mountain, various massive engines of war were being assembled, specifically designed to subjugate gargantuan, demonic beasts. Compared to their hasty confrontation with the Undead Legion, the human race was making thoroughly ample preparations this time. If the demon race thought they could easily storm Boundary Mountain as they had before, it was sheer wishful thinking. A gleam of joy flashed in Fang Chen's eyes as he discovered that with the looming battle and the vast gathering of sect elders and disciples, a bustling marketplace had spontaneously formed in a corner of the peak. Disciples had set up stalls, hoping to barter for the treasures they desired. After the Battle of Boundary Mountain, Fang Chen's rejuvenation pills were nearly exhausted. He had only 5 spirit-replenishing pills remaining, and his 3-step drunkenness was entirely depleted. He was in dire need of resupply. Glancing around, he noticed that several stalls offered the exact materials required for rejuvenation pills and 3-step drunkenness. Without hesitation, he brought out the assorted spirit meats and demonic beast materials he had harvested earlier, bartering them for an abundant supply of alchemy ingredients. The sole regret was that the moon-gazing linge I needed to refine spirit-replenishing pills was exceedingly obscure. He failed to stumble upon one as serendipitously as he had during his last encounter with Yu Mingzhu. Suddenly, Fang Chen's vision went pitch black as a pair of warm, soft jade hands covered his eyes. At the same time, a teasing voice echoed in his ear. Guess who? Fang Chen laughed without a moment's hesitation. Yu Mingzhu. How boring. Instantly exposed, Yu Mingzhu pouted and released her hands. Fang Chen turned around, and the exquisite visage of an 18-year-old maiden greeted his sight. Her skin was like congealed fat, lustrous and snow-white. Her jade-like nose was elegantly proportioned, and her ruby lips were as vibrant as blooming petals. Her bright, expressive eyes sparkled as though they could speak 1,000 words. At this moment, she pursed her lips, feigning displeasure at being so easily unmasked. Who would have thought my voice left such a profound impression on you? You recognized it in an instant. Though her words were petulant, the radiant joy dancing in her eyes could not be concealed. She had deliberately altered her voice, yet to her astonishment, Fang Chen recognized it without a moment's hesitation. What could this possibly mean? It meant that her voice and visage were etched deep within his very soul. That is not quite the reason. Among all the women I know, you are the only one who can approach me from behind without making a single sound. Thus, Fang Chen gave his answer. As his cultivation realm ascended and his horizons broadened, the enigma surrounding Yu Mingzhu only deepened, feeling ever more dissonant. At times, he could not help but speculate, was Yu Mingzhu truly just a mere disciple? He had already reached the 3rd layer of the Golden Core realm, yet Yu Mingzhu could still manifest behind him as silently as a phantom, completely evading his senses. It was a profoundly unsettling feat. Realizing he had recognized her, not out of longing but logic, Yu Mingzhu stomped her foot in a flush of vexation. Fang Chen. A look of exasperation crossed Fang Chen's face. What is it now? You are forever becoming incensed over the most inexplicable things. Yu Mingzhu puffed out her cheeks, crossed her arms defiantly, and tapped her foot, wearing an expression that spoke of a burning desire to pry open his mind and fathom its inner workings. This man, he understood not a single whisper of a woman's heart. Noticing several familiar elders approaching, she swiftly composed her demeanor, cleared her throat, and inquired, I hear you have joined the Special Operations Unit. Was that not a matter of utmost secrecy? How could Yu Mingzhu possibly be aware of it? He asked with a shadow of suspicion, From whom did you hear this? As a sect master, did she truly need to inquire about such matters? Yu Mingzhu offered no reply. Instead, her expression grew solemn as she warned, This coming mission, it is fraught with peril. Come with me. I shall bestow upon you some items to grant you a greater measure of assurance. She turned and moved toward a more secluded section of the great bulwark. After a moment of contemplation, Fang Chen followed, falling into step beside her. At that very moment, a grand flock of avian beasts descended from the horizon. They were none other than the latest spirit beasts tamed by the Spirit Beast Sect, delivered to Boundary Mountain to partake in the Great War. Aboard the leading avian beast, Yuan Jiyu's resentful gaze swept across the crowds below, that detestable Fang Chen. He rendered such great aid to Yi Liangxing that she has already broken through to the 9th layer of the Foundation Establishment realm. I will make him answer for this. Seated gracefully nearby, Gongqi's gaze flickered with a complex light upon hearing the name Fang Chen. The once obscure disciple of yesteryear had now ascended to become a young leader whose name thundered across the 9 sects. Given time, he was destined to become a dazzling star, a celestial body of immense brilliance shining over the lands of the 9 sects. Suddenly, Yuan Ji let out a sharp cry, her finger pointing toward Fang Chen as he walked toward the great bulwark. Gongqi's gaze swiftly followed, and upon recognizing Fang Chen's familiar silhouette, an inexplicable joy blossomed within her heart. Master, let us descend and find him, Yu urged with palpable impatience. Gongqi opened her mouth to speak, but visions of her intimate encounters with Fang Chen flashed through her mind. After a brief silence, she shook her head. I shall not go. You may seek him out yourself later. It was best to keep her distance from Fang Chen, lest she reawaken the poignant regret of being born a decade too soon. Her eyes fell upon the woman at Fang Chen's side. The girl walked with a skip in her step, hands clasped behind her back, occasionally turning to speak with him, her face breaking into a radiant smile. At other moments, she would fall into step beside him, exuding an aura of innocent, carefree vivacity. The sight, however, caused Gongqi to jolt to her feet abruptly. The master of the Heiyuan Sect. Gongqi exclaimed in shock. Why is she by Fang Chen's side? What could her intentions possibly be? What is the meaning of this proximity to Fang Chen? Laughing and conversing. At her age, to be so familiar with a junior. Does she not fear the whispers it will provoke? Yu stood by, utterly stupefied, shocked as much by the Heiyuan sect master's intimacy with Fang Chen as by Gongqi's fervent reaction. The palace master, who had always remained aloof from the mortal coil, was now visibly flustered. But what reason had she to be so agitated? Fang Chen could associate with whomever he wished. What concern was it of the palace masters? Gongqi's brows knitted together, her gaze fixed upon Yu, her eyes growing increasingly dark and cold. Zhiyu, return ahead of me. I must watch over Fang Chen, lest the Heiyuan sect master commit an act unbecoming of her station. Having spoken, she leaped onto another of the great avian beasts and gave chase in the direction of Fang Chen and Yu. Yu stuck out her tongue and murmured under her breath. Whether the Heiyuan sect master will act unbecomingly is yet to be seen, but master, what you are doing right now is most certainly beneath your station. When it came to Fang Chen, what was Gongqi's relation to him? She was not his kin, nor his sect elder, and certainly not his beloved. By what right did she interfere in his affairs? A sudden realization struck her, sending a shiver through her very core. Forget it, just forget it. This is not a matter I can interfere with. I dare not ask, and I certainly dare not speak of it. Somewhere along the Great Wall, there was no one in sight. Yu finally came to a halt, her expression shifting into one of relaxed delight. Facing the sweeping mountain winds, she stretched her arms with immense comfort. The movement pulled her robes taut, perfectly outlining her slender and graceful silhouette. Her long, snow-white legs, a shapely rear, a waist as slender as a weeping willow, a full and proud bosom, and a jawline that curved in absolute perfection. Only while Fang Chen was secretly sizing her up did he realize that Yu was shooting him a sidelong glance, rolling her eyes at him. She said, "You have the nerve to peek, but lack the true courage." Fang Chen's face flushed red with embarrassment. Ever since his intimate moment with Liu Qingxian on the Great Wall was interrupted just as they were about to go further, an unquenchable flame had been kindled within his heart. Being caught peeking by Yu right now made him exceedingly awkward. Little did he know, the corners of Yu lips had curled upward in a smile she simply could not suppress. She muttered softly, "Look if you want to. It's not like I forbade you from looking." At this moment they were the only two atop the Great Wall. Aside from the howling wind, there were no other sounds. How could such a close-range mutter escape Fang Chen's ears? He cast an astonished glance at Yu his expression turning even more unnatural. Coughing dryly, he asked, "Miss Yu, what was it that you wished to give me?" Perfect timing. He too had something he wished to gift to Yu. Only then did Yu recall the matter at hand. From her sleeve, she withdrew a jade bottle filled with a pink medicinal powder. Take this if you encounter an unmatched danger, scatter it outward. However, it must only be used when you are driven to an absolute dead end and forced to perish together with your enemy. She pressed it into Fang Chen's hand. Curiosity piqued. He moved to open the jade bottle, but Yu hastily stopped him. "Do not open it." Flushed with embarrassment, she explained, "This is an aphrodisiac named 6 Hominies Immortal. Its effects are extremely tyrannical. Even cultivators in the nascent soul realm cannot fully resist it. Once afflicted, one will fall into an inescapable state of lust. If not resolved in time, their meridians will rupture and they will die. In times of peril, you can bring it out to threaten your opponent. I believe no one would easily dare to test its potency." Fang Chen's sweat dropped endlessly, so it was an item of this nature. However, its effects were truly astonishing. To think that even a nascent soul realm expert could not entirely withstand it. This was undeniably terrifying. As for the method of resolving the affliction, it naturally pointed toward the physical union of man and woman. It truly was an item for mutual destruction. He found himself not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Once scattered, the enemy would be afflicted, and he himself would certainly not be spared. If the two opposing parties were a man and a woman, there was still a chance of resolution, but if they were of the same sex, they could only wait for death together. Blushing, Yu Mingzhu said, all right, hurry and put it away. Even within my Hehuan sect, very few would ever use such a thing. You must not look down on me because of this." She had thought of gifting Fang Chen many things, but he was endowed with numerous divine abilities and possessed more life, saving trump cards than she did. After much deliberation, only this remained. She could not help but worry that Fang Chen would perceive her as an unchaste woman because of it. Fang Chen smiled faintly. "You treat me so well. If I were to look down on you, would I not be a heartless beast?" He took out the bone necklace of Yao Yu, plucked several crystals from it, and then grasped Yu Mingzhu's small hand, pressing all the crystals into her palm. "These are the defensive magical artifacts of Priest Yao Yu. Crush one when in danger, and a layer of crystal will envelop your body to block the enemy's attack. It can roughly withstand a single strike from a cultivator at the 8th level of the Golden Core realm. Zhaoge had used them before, enduring Yao Yu's full powered strike had cost half her life. Thus, its defensive efficacy could only safely withstand an attack at the 8th level of the Golden Core realm. Traces of joy overflowed from Yu Mingzhu's eyes. Naturally, a defensive crystal at the 8th level of the Golden Core realm was utterly useless to her. But this was a gift from Fang Chen, given personally by his own hands. Feeling a profound sweetness in her heart, Yu Mingzhu generously accepted them. She brought out a jade box, emptied its exceptionally precious heavenly materials and earthly treasures, and carefully placed the crystals inside. She then tucked it back into her sleeve, storing it away with the utmost care. Fang Chen picked up the discarded heavenly materials and earthly treasures, clicking his tongue. "Aren't you being too wasteful? These are worth quite a fortune." Yu Mingzhu clasped her delicate hands behind her back, tilting her head with a hint of shyness as she replied, "They are not as precious as your crystals." Catching the underlying implication, Fang Chen felt as if his heartstrings had been plucked, sending ripples echoing through his very soul. He was momentarily at a loss for how to respond to such words. The truth was, they had not spent much time together, and Fang Chen hardly knew her. The relationship between them surely had not progressed to the point of mutual affection, had it? Yet, he feared that any words of rejection would leave Yu Mingzhu disappointed. Just as Fang Chen was deliberating over his words, a sudden fluttering echoed through the sky as a large avian beast beat its wings and spiraled down. Seeing this, the smile vanished completely from Yu Mingzhu's face, replaced by a surge of panic. Fang Chen was also taken aback when he clearly saw the demure and dignified silhouette standing gracefully upon the bird's back. He called out in pleasant surprise, "Sect Master Gong." This was their first meeting since his mission to the Spirit Beast Sect. Even after 3 months, Gongqi's radiant grace remained unchanged. Her jade green long dress fluttered in the wind, like a lotus leaf swaying in a gentle breeze. Her snow-white face was set with a pair of bright, beautiful eyes that looked upon Fang Chen with overflowing tenderness. She leapt down from the avian beast, her tall and slender figure nearly matching Fang Chen's height. Crossing her hands elegantly before her lower abdomen, she smiled before even speaking. "You have grown taller." Sizing him up, she keenly observed that Fang Chen had matured. Not only was he taller, but he was also slowly growing into the likeness of a grown man. A warmth washed over Fang Chen's heart. He was deeply grateful to Gongqi. When he first entered the Qingxian sect, he had been ostracized and ignored. It was Gongqi who looked after him in every aspect, acting more like a master to him than his actual master. Later, she had even taken the initiative to recruit him into the Spirit Beast Sect. He had declined her kindness, leaving a lingering trace of guilt toward her in his heart. "And you, Sect Master Gong, have grown even younger." Fang Chen smiled as he observed her. The effects of the beautiful, nourishing paste had perfected the state of Gongqi's skin, making her appear to be merely in her early 20s. Gongqi smiled, her gaze shifting lightly to rest upon Yu Mingzhu. Fang Chen hurriedly said, "Sect Master Gong, allow me to introduce you. This is my friend Yu Mingzhu. We have weathered many perils together. She is a trusted and good friend." He introduced Yu Mingzhu without reservation, hoping that she too would earn Gongqi's favor. Gongqi stared deeply at Yu Mingzhu, her expression gradually turning icy. "Yu Mingzhu, a trusted good friend, Sect Master Yu, do you not feel ashamed to deceive a junior like this?" Yu Mingzhu lowered her head and let out a long sigh. "Gongqi, you are truly detestable." She dared not look into Fang Chen's eyes, nor could she bear to see his expression. Taking a deep breath, her voice turned raspy and low. "That is correct. I am the sect master of the Hehuan sect, and Yu Mingzhu is but a pseudonym. I have deceived you all along, pretending to be your peer. In truth, I am a woman over 30 who has fallen for a junior. I am bereft of propriety and honor, disregarding the moral principles of heaven and earth. A lowly woman fit only to be nailed to the pillar of shame and condemned by all. Is that enough?" As those final 3 words left her lips, her delicate shoulders trembled. A scalding, crystalline tear fell into the snow beneath her feet, melting a deep crater into the thin layer of newly gathered frost. Gongqi was stunned. For the first time, she felt like a villain, as if she had committed a deeply sinful act. What crime had Sect Master Yu truly committed? She merely wished to be with the one she loved. Much like Gongqi, she felt an inherent inferiority regarding her age, driving her to conceal her true identity and approach Fang Chen under the guise of Yu Mingzhu. She had meticulously hidden her perceived flaws, striving solely to present her most perfect self to Fang Chen. Yet Gongqi had mercilessly pierced through that illusion. Right in front of Fang Chen, the person she cherished most, she had ruthlessly exposed all the insecurities Yu Mingzhu had tried so hard to hide. With a single sentence, she had shattered all of Yu Mingzhu's hopes for the future, plunging her into an abyss of despair so profound it fractured her very sense of self. At this moment, overcome with unparalleled shame, Yu Mingzhu lowered her head and turned to walk away. Her tear, blurred vision made the snow beneath her feet indistinguishable, yet she cared not to look. She only wished the earth would swallow her whole, erasing her existence entirely from this world. She had barely taken 2 steps when a powerful hand gripped her arm. Fang Chen's calm voice drifted over gently. "So you really are the Hehuan sect master? It seems my guess was not wrong after all." Yu Mingzhu halted her steps, her voice hoarse as she asked, "You knew? Since when?" Fang Chen chuckled softly. "When you were endlessly singing the praises of the Hehuan sect master, I thought to myself back then, who would boast so vigorously on behalf of another, unless, of course, that person was speaking of herself." Yu Mingzhu felt even more overwhelmed with humiliation. Fang Chen had guessed the truth long ago. Her tears flowed ever more recklessly as a desolate sorrow filled her heart. She had lived as an unwitting clown, eagerly parading her own ugliness for all to see. She covered her face, truly wishing she could sink into the earth. She turned, desperate to flee, but her arm remained firmly in Fang Chen's grasp. "Let me go. Have you not seen enough of my disgrace?" Yu Mingzhu thrashed her arm wildly, trying to break free. Yet the more she struggled, the tighter Fang Chen held on, until a soft sigh made her abruptly cease her resistance. "Whether you are Yu Mingzhu or the Hehuan sect master, was it not you who gifted me your only defensive magical artifact? Was it not you who tricked me into leaving, choosing to face 2 battles, generals alone, and nearly losing your life, all while exhausting your efforts to prepare a life-saving measure for me?" Yu Mingzhu's tears cascaded down like pearls from a broken string. It turned out Fang Chen remembered all of her sacrifices. He remembered every single one without omission. Say no more. She wiped away her tears, but more immediately welled up, blurring her vision. It was as if her tears had broken free of all restraint, streaming down incessantly. With her identity exposed, Yu Mingzhu would cease to exist. From now on, there would only be the Hehuan sect master and a disciple of the Qingxian sect. Their paths would never cross again. A large, warm hand reached over, gently wiping the tears from her eyes. Miraculously, the uncontrollable flood of tears suddenly ceased. She lifted her tear-brimming eyes meeting Fang Chen's tender countenance. His voice seamlessly flowed into her very soul. "Do you still not understand? Who you are is not important. What matters is that every moment we shared was real. That is enough." Yu Mingzhu averted her gaze, lacking the courage to meet Fang Chen's eyes through her shame. She murmured with a nasal tone, "Do you not blame me for deceiving you?" Fang Chen asked in return, "Did you deceive me out of malice?" Yu Mingzhu said anxiously, "Of course not. I was merely terrified you would despise me for my old age." Looking at her 18-year-old appearance, Fang Chen did not know whether to laugh or cry. "In another 10 years, you will still look 18, while I will be nearing 30. It is uncertain who will be despising whom by then," Yu Mingzhu said with self-deprecation. "Stop trying to comfort me. No matter how my appearance remains unchanged, my true age is still over 30, while you are but 18. The gap is too vast." Fang Chen smiled. "Are we not still friends, between friends and age gap?" Yu Mingzhu mocked herself internally. What she desired was not mere friendship. Age was indeed an insurmountable chasm. If she minded it herself, then naturally, Fang Chen would mind it even more. Gongqi also felt a surge of bitterness, her complexion gradually dimming. Fang Chen immediately continued, "If we are speaking of the relationship between a man and a woman, we have not yet reached that stage, but if we did, why would I mind? Not to mention your body will forever retain the allure of an 18-year-old, which is the celestial wife every man dreams of even if you possess the body of a 30-year-old. Is that not the peak of a woman's maturity? I would adore you all the same." Her cheeks flushed slightly, her maiden heart fluttering as she tentatively said, You only know how to sweet-talk me." Fang Chen laughed helplessly, "That I cannot prove, unless in the future we truly possess the destiny to join together in union." Yu Mingju stomped her foot in utter bashfulness. What nonsense are you spouting? Who would ever unite with you? How lewd." A crimson flush spread from her neck all the way to her cheeks, yet her tear-misted eyes shimmered with radiant brilliance. A heart that had shattered into pieces was seamlessly mended back together. It turned out that the age she was most insecure about was absolutely no issue in Fang Chen's eyes. It was she who had trapped herself in a prison of her own making, needlessly restricting her heart. Her spirit felt lighter than ever before. Even Gongqi, standing to the side, found herself lacking the courage to look into Fang Chen's eyes as she once used to. "Yu Mingju, we are still friends, trusted friends." Fang Chen released his grip on her arm. Yu Mingju's tears gave way to a radiant smile. To simply remain friends was already a profound blessing to her. Just moments ago, her despair had felt as though the heavens were collapsing. At this thought, she shot a fierce glare at Gongqi. "I must disappoint you, Gongqi. Fang Chen does not despise me at all." An unnatural expression crossed Gongqi's face as she explained, "I meant no other harm. I was simply worried you harbored ill intentions toward Fang Chen. I never imagined that your feelings for him were genuine." She, too, felt aggrieved. Who could have possibly foreseen that the sect master of the Joyful Union sect, who had always treated the world as her playground, would genuinely fall in love? She had assumed the Joyful Union sect master was merely toying with Fang Chen's affections. Yu Mingju, with her keen and perceptive mind, faintly sensed that something was amiss. With her hands clasped behind her back, she circled Gongqi once, her eyes sweeping over her from head to toe. The intense scrutiny made Gongqi falter, and she asked, "What are you staring at?" Yu Mingju cupped her chin, a cunning glint in her eyes. "I was just wondering, why do you concern yourself with Fang Chen's affairs? He is neither your disciple nor a member of your sect, not even a junior under your direct lineage. Even if you were truly concerned about my intentions toward him, wouldn't it have been more appropriate to warn the Azure Cloud sect? Why would you choose to intervene personally?" Gongqi maintained her elegant posture, her hands crossed gracefully before her, her gaze serene. Yet an almost imperceptible twitch of her little finger betrayed a sliver of the tension coiling within her. "I have had the fortune of meeting Fang Chen on 2 occasions. I admire his profound talent. Is it so wrong for me to look out for him?" Outwardly, she maintained a facade of perfect composure. But how could a woman like Yu Mingju, who had witnessed and understood countless tales of passion between men and women, fail to notice the subtle shift in Gongqi's demeanor? As if discovering a new world, she burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha, surely not. Could it be that the Grand Sect Master of the Spirit Beast Sect, the pure and immaculate Gongqi, has fallen for a junior?" Visibly flustered, Gongqi cried out, "Cease your baseless accusations. I am not like you, devoid of all shame." But Yu Mingju only laughed louder, turning to Fang Chen. "Look what I have discovered for you. Sect Master Gong has truly fallen for you." Fang Chen was left speechless. He quickly came to Gongqi's defense, saying, "Do not speak such nonsense. Gongqi is a respected elder. Her concern for me is merely that of a senior for a junior. Do not tarnish her good name." But Yu Mingju's face was alight with excitement. She chuckled. "Do you know what makes a person truly anxious? Not lies, for one knows they are false. It is the truth, swift and sharp as a blade, that incites haste. A moment ago, she was hasty. Trust me, Gongqi has truly fallen for you." Yu Mingju felt as though she had discovered a new world. Had she been the only sect master to fall for Fang Chen, she would have been plagued by whispers and gossip. But now, another had succumbed. She had found a fellow traveler on this path. How could she not be ecstatic? Flushed with shame and anger, Gongqi snapped, "Sect Master Yu, I advise you to speak with caution, or do not blame me for being impolite." With her hands clasped behind her back, Yu Mingju said smugly, "Have I spoken a single falsehood? Can you deny that you rushed here to expose me because you were consumed by jealousy? We may be sect masters, but we are human still, subject to all the mortal passions. There is no need to flee from your own heart." How much better it would be to be candid, as I am. Gongqi huffed, I am not as shameless as you. Although Fang Chen might not have cared about the difference in their age, Gongqi could not cast aside the profound dignity of her station. For the Grandmaster of a sect to fall for a junior, if word of this were to spread, how could she ever face the world again? Fang Chen felt a headache brewing, thanks to the chaos. Loving Yu Mingzhu, he said firmly, Yu Mingzhu, I believe Sect Master Gong. But Yu Mingzhu refused to let the matter drop. Gongqi had embarrassed her moments before, and she was determined to return the favor in full before the day was done. She let out a melodious laugh. Ah, Fang Chen, you do not understand women. A woman's words and her heart are often at odds. To know her true thoughts, you cannot simply listen to what she says. You must observe what she does. As for whether she truly has feelings for you, I can find out with a simple test. Her face an icy mask, Gongqi turned indifferently and walked toward her avian mount. Without a backward glance, she said, how tedious. Play your little games. This master will not indulge you. Seeing her attempt to flee, Yu Mingzhu's smile deepened with meaning. Sect Master Gong, do you know how my destiny first became intertwined with Fang Chen's? Gongqi continued her unhurried pace toward the flying beast. I fell into a chasm of 10,000 zhang, nearly plunging to my death. It was Fang Chen who saved me. He saved me by stripping off all my clothes, save for my doo-doo. He saw and touched every part of me. Gongqi's steps halted abruptly. She wavered for a moment, but ultimately did not turn around, continuing forward as she said coldly, Why do you tell me this? Besides, it was to save a life, a necessary measure in a moment of crisis. Yu Mingzhu smiled sweetly. Then how do you explain the copper coin Fang Chen gifted me? A treasure capable of defending against an attack from the 9th level of the Golden Core realm. You have taken such good care of him, surely he must have gifted you one as well. Gongqi's hands, crossed before her, suddenly clenched into tight fists. She fought to keep her voice even. He considers you a friend. Gifting a treasure is hardly remarkable. Yu Mingzhu was relentless. Oh, but Fang Chen has been far too good to me. He also gave me a mass of 1,000-year-old spirit flesh, through which I broke through to the 9th level of the Golden Core realm. My cultivation is now higher than yours, you know. From now on, you'll have to address me as senior. In all things, comparison is a venomous seed. The Spirit Beast Sect and the Joyful Union Sect were neighbors, yet their paths of cultivation were diametrically opposed. One championed a life of purity and detachment, with spirit beasts as their lifelong companions. The other practiced the art of dual cultivation, where the union of man and woman was a sacred path. The two sects held each other in mutual disdain, yet were locked in a perpetual, silent rivalry. And now Yu Mingzhu's cultivation had surpassed her own, and with Fang Chen's help no less, Gongqi could no longer maintain her composure. Still, she struggled to contain the storm within, forcing out a cold snort. Whom he chooses to aid is his own business. It is of no concern to me. Yet her heart was already heavy with resentment. Had she not shown Fang Chen the utmost sincerity, and yet this little scoundrel had turned around and aided her greatest rival. Yu Mingzhu added fuel to the flames, delivering the final, crushing blow. It's good that you can think that way. You see, Fang Chen and I have grown so close that he even accepted the 6 harmonies immortal I gifted him. The next time we meet, you may be drinking to our wedding. The 6 harmonies immortal. How could Gongqi not know what that was? She spun around, her face a mask of fury and panic, and cried, Fang Chen, do you truly intend to be with this demoness? Fang Chen was utterly stunned. Yu Mingzhu's talent for twisting the truth by omitting crucial details was on par with Wu Manyue's. What was clearly a life-saving treasure had, from Yu Mingzhu's lips, become proof of an impending intimate union. Before he could explain, Yu Mingzhu erupted in continuous laughter. Sect Master Gong, if you do not intervene, Fang Chen will be mine. You are well aware of the methods of my Joyful Union sect. Gongqi could endure it no longer. Her face turned to frost as she commanded, You will stay away from Fang Chen. Yu Mingzhu darted behind Fang Chen, resting her chin upon his shoulder. She blinked her large, cunning, fox-like eyes at Gongqi, her expression a mask of pure provocation. You court death, her patience utterly exhausted. Gongqi swept her sleeve, unleashing a buzzing swarm of spirit bees that surged from her robe toward Yu Mingzhu. Fang Chen's expression shifted. How had it come to blows? He quickly interjected, Sect Master Gong, let us resolve this with words. Yu Mingzhu was no easy foe. She was now at the 9th level of the Golden Core realm, while Gongqi was only at the 8th. If they truly fought, Gongqi would surely suffer. He had to stop them to prevent her from being injured. But in Gongqi's eyes, this was Fang Chen protecting Yu Mingju. A pang of pain and fury shot through her heart. She cried out, "Fang Chen, after I have treated you with such kindness, is this how you repay me? You give every treasure to this woman, and when she torments me so, you still shield her. You faithless man, I will strike you down as well." Yu Mingju grinned from ear to ear. "Gongqi, your true colors are showing at last. You even called him a faithless man." Fang Chen rubbed his nose in bewilderment. Could it be that Yu Mingju had been right all along? But when had this happened? How had he remained completely oblivious to Gongqi's feelings? Seeing Gongqi, overwhelmed with shame and fury, attack with reckless abandon, he quickly pleaded, "Sect Master Gong, calm yourself. Don't fall for her provocations again." Meanwhile, Yu Mingju tilted her head, a look of utter triumph gracing her features. Gongqi snapped back to her senses. "What have I just said? How could I utter such words? To call Fang Chen a heartless fiend to his face? Isn't that a tacit admission of the feelings buried deep within my heart for him?" A crimson blush bloomed across her exquisite, jade-like face, visible to the naked eye. Her eyes flickered, and with a heart full of guilt, she averted her gaze from Fang Chen's. A storm of shame and indignation brewed within her as she glared at Yu Mingju. "You detestable woman." She finally understood. Yu Mingju had fallen into Fang Chen's fiery pit, and, unwilling to bear the world's judgmental gazes alone, sought to drag her down as well. Yu Mingju playfully twirled a lock of lustrous hair that cascaded over her chest, a radiant smile on her lips. "Come now, greet our husband. From this day forward, we shall be sisters, serving the same man." What outrageous and shameless words are these? Gongqi found the suggestion utterly unbearable. With a stamp of her foot, she spun around to leave, crying out in shame and fury, "You two wicked degenerates can revel in your own depravity." Yu Mingju laughed. "Very well." She then turned to Fang Chen with a coquettish air. "My dear Fang, I have gifted you the 6 harmonies immortal, the ultimate treasure of the Joyful Union sect. Surely you won't repay me with a mere few crystals. I desire something more. For instance, our child." Just as she was about to depart, Gongqi was struck as if her vital point had been sealed. She stormed back in a fury, seized Fang Chen's hand, and thrust a jade vial into his palm. "The 6 harmonies immortal is nothing. You think you can claim Fang Chen with that alone?" Fang Chen was at a loss, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Gongqi was far too naive, completely ensnared by Yu Mingju's machinations with just a few clever words. He quickly interjected, "Do not fall for Yu Mingju's schemes. She is merely provoking you on purpose." As he spoke, he attempted to return the jade vial. Gongqi shot a sideways glance at the gleefully smirking Yu Mingju, but did not take back the vial. Her gaze fixed deeply upon Fang Chen as she spoke. "Since this vixen has forced my hand, there is no longer any point in concealment. It is true, like Yu Mingju, I have harbored feelings for you, a junior, that I should not, but the Spirit Beast sect is not the Joyful Union sect. The Joyful Union sect's ways may be heretical, but the world can at least comprehend them. The Spirit Beast sect, however, has been as a sacred temple since its founding, bound by solemn vows and forbidding relations with men, as its sect master. I am bound to be a paragon for my disciples. I dare not take that forbidden step. Therefore, I ask that you treat the events of this day as if they never transpired." Fang Chen hastily clasped his hands in a respectful salute. "Sect Master Gong, you think too highly of me. How could this junior ever dare to aspire to one of your station?" This was the outcome Gongqi had sought, yet when Fang Chen uttered the words, a sharp pang of sorrow pierced her heart. "You," she whispered, her voice laced with a profound, unspoken grief. Yu Mingju rolled her eyes in exasperation. She took Fang Chen's hand with one of her own and Gongqi's with the other, pressing them together. "Enough of this dithering. Gongqi, do you truly believe the Spirit Beast sect cannot function without you? With countless grand elders and elders, your presence is but a drop in the ocean. Renounce your title as sect master, and all your troubles will vanish." Silence. Gongqi seethed with hatred for Yu Mingju, for this entire chaotic affair was a predicament of her making. Yu Mingju shrugged. "If you are truly so reluctant to part with your title, then simply follow my example. Being sect master is but one identity, and being with Fang Chen is another. The two need not interfere with each other." Gongqi no longer wished to entertain her. It was not the title of sect master she coveted, but the solemn duty to honor her late master's teachings and bear the responsibilities the position demanded. In truth, she had long grown weary of the burden. Fang Chen gently withdrew his hand. "Mingju, Gongqi, I am humbled by your deep affections, yet I feel we know far too little of one another. Perhaps it is best we begin as friends." Yu Mingju simply shrugged. "It matters not to me. After all, I have an eternity to wait." Gongqi also let out a soft sigh of relief. This would suffice for now, granting them all a period of respite. Whatever fate awaited them could be decided in the days to come. A wave of relief washed over Fang Chen as well. Only then did he have a moment to inspect the jade vial from Gongqi. Within it swirled a volume of blood, as vividly crimson as if it had just been drawn, its potent demonic power palpable even through the jade. The blood of a demonic beast, Fang Chen inquired. Gongqi gave a slight nod. Do you not cultivate your physical form? This vial contains the blood of the ancient demon emperor, a sacred relic for those who walk the path of body refinement. The ancient demon emperor, that tiger demon who reigned at the peak of the nascent soul realm and had glimpsed the threshold of the soul formation realm. Its essence blood was an unparalleled treasure for any who tempered their mortal vessel. It was rumored that Kong Yuanba had repeatedly sought to trade for this very treasure, only to be refused by Gongqi each time. Yet now she had freely gifted it to Fang Chen. The item was far too precious. Fang Chen immediately tried to return it. Gongqi's voice softened. Keep it. I have long wished to give this to you, but lacked the proper reason. Accept it now. Consider it a gift from an old woman who holds you in high esteem. Fang Chen rubbed his nose, feeling a strange sense of bewilderment. Her words made it seem as though he were a treasured product, lavished with gifts by two wealthy and powerful patronesses. Yet he could not deny the sheer magnificence of their gifts. The Six Harmonies Immortal was a treasure beyond measure, and this vial of essence blood before him held the key to cultivating the final layer of the iron blood, true scripture to its grand completion. He dared not imagine the heights his physical prowess would reach then. In light of Gongqi's immense generosity, Fang Chen was not one to be miserly. He sliced off a large portion of the spirit clam's flesh and presented it to her. Is this the flesh of 1,000-year spirit beast? Gongqi exclaimed in astonishment. It is far too precious. I cannot accept this. How could I possibly take such a treasure from you? A faint, knowing smile played on Fang Chen's lips. This is the very thing you Mingzhu consumed to break through to the 9th layer of the golden core realm. Do you intend to remain beneath her for all time? This is it. Gongqi's breath hitched. She glanced at the triumphant, looking Yu Mingzhu, then, clenching her jaw, she accepted the offering. Then I shall owe you a great debt. The resources required to advance from the 8th to the 9th layer of the golden core realm were astronomical, its value no less than that of the vial of the tiger demon's essence blood. Fang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. A clear understanding had finally been reached between him and the two women. As for whether destiny would entwine their paths in the future, that would be left to the whims of fate. He clasped his hands in salute. Mingzhu, I am now departing for cultivation to prepare for the mission in 3 days. We shall meet again. While Yu Mingzhu thought little of it, an unnatural expression flickered across Gongqi's face. It was the first time a young man had ever addressed her so intimately as Qi. She watched his distant figure, a strange and wondrous light dancing in her eyes, lost in a reverie from which she could not easily return. Our husband is truly magnificent, is he not, Sister Qi? Yu Mingzhu murmured, resting her chin in her hand with a teasing, enigmatic smile. A blush crept onto Gongqi's cheeks as she retorted, Who is your sister? Stay far away from me henceforth, I do not know you. As if fleeing, she leaped onto her flying beast and soared into the heavens. Only when she had reached the vast emptiness of the high heavens did her tense posture finally crumble. The memory of confessing her heart to Fang Chen sent a burning heat to her cheeks. Had she truly revealed her innermost feelings to him? Was this not some dreadful nightmare? She lamented in shame and frustration. Yu Mingzhu, this is all you're doing. Yet, from the depths of her heart, a sliver of gratitude arose. If not for Yu Mingzhu, how would Fang Chen have ever known of the feelings she harbored? Gazing at the great mass of spirit flesh in her arms, her expression became a tapestry of conflicting emotions. At times joyful, then worried, then melancholic. Within the hidden dimension, Fang Chen retrieved the tiger demon's essence blood. The moment he unsealed the vial, a ferocious tiger's roar erupted without warning, a sound so potent it violently shook his entire frame and nearly sent the jade vessel tumbling from his grasp. A terrifying wave of demonic power burst forth, coalescing in midair into the spectral form of a colossal, ferocious tiger. Its body was a stark white, its features contorted in a savage snarl, and it radiated an aura of peerless malice. With a turn of its head, it fixed its gaze upon Fang Chen, let out a thunderous roar, and lunged with brutal intent. Fang Chen's heart leaped into his throat. By the heavens, the tiger demon emperor had been dead for untold years, yet its remaining essence blood possessed such terrifying might. The aura of this spectral beast was at least equivalent to the 8th layer of the golden core realm. As the phantom tiger pounced, Fang Chen, still clutching the essence blood, instantly activated 6 heavenly thunder arts, shadow in the clouds. He became a flash of lightning, teleporting 200 zhang in an instant. Boom. The ground where he had stood erupted, a terrifying shockwave ravaging 100 zhang radius, shattering the earth and causing the entire dimension to quake violently. Fang Chen clicked his tongue in astonishment. It was fortunate he had cultivated the void, flow thunder force, doubling the range of his shadow in the clouds technique. Otherwise, he would not have escaped the blow. He turned his gaze back to the spectral tiger and discovered with alarm that its colossal form was spontaneously drawing upon the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, its body solidifying as its aura climbed ever higher. Fang Chen cried out in dismay, "Gongqi, are you trying to assassinate your own husband?" This essence blood had been sealed for far too long, allowing the stagnant aura of the demonic sovereign to fester. Over the ages, it had birthed a sliver of malevolent consciousness, transforming into a being akin to an evil spirit. Gongqi herself had never anticipated such a development, and in gifting it directly to Fang Chen, had unwittingly unleashed this considerable peril upon him. Roar, the tiger demon roared in fury and pounced once more, its heaven, shaking demonic power threatening to shatter Fang Chen into a mist of blood. "As if I would fear you," Fang Chen bellowed, lightning coiling around his palms, palm of the 5 heavenly thunders. The lightning essence within his body converged in his palms, forming an ethereal handprint. As he thrust his hands forward, the print swelled in the wind, expanding in an instant to a full zhang in size before howling through the air to viciously collide with the pouncing tiger. No matter how mighty this tiger was, in essence, it was an evil spirit, and the power of lightning was its bane. At the very moment of impact, the tiger demon unleashed a pained roar, and with a sweep of its tail, it twisted in midair to retreat. Its eyes locked fiercely onto Fang Chen from a distance, a hint of dread flickering within them, yet overshadowed by an overwhelming ferocity. It lowered its head, its body crouching low as it began to circle Fang Chen, seeking the opportune moment to strike. Fang Chen's brow furrowed in consternation. How troublesome to be targeted by an evil spirit of such low intelligence. A more intelligent creature, upon seeing that Fang Chen wielded the very lightning that countered its nature, would have already abandoned the fight and fled. Yet this beast before him was determined to fight to the death. What made the situation perilous was its continuous absorption of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. It was on the very verge of reaching the peak of the 9th layer of the Golden Core realm. Once it reached that stage, even his lightning powers might not be enough to suppress such a formidable evil spirit. Just as the two were locked in a tense standoff, something stirred from within Fang Chen's robes. The little Qilin, Fang Chen, was left speechless. The creature had slept for 2 whole months. Aside from when Fang Chen had forcefully awakened it once to feed it a spirit pill, it had shown no signs of stirring. Even when Fang Chen was locked in life war, death battles, the immense commotion had failed to rouse it from its slumber. Why would it suddenly awaken now? As his robes parted, the little Qilin opened its drowsy, sleep-filled eyes, poking out its small, palm-sized head to dazedly survey its surroundings. Then a scene that stunned Fang Chen unfolded. The tiger demon, its face a mask of malevolent fury, began to tremble violently the very instant it laid eyes on the little Qilin. Immediately after, the fur all over its body bristled, its claws dug into the ground, and a low, whimpering whine escaped its maw as it began to back away. It retreated all the way to the exit before nimbly spinning around and bolting out of the cavern. It was as if it had encountered a terrifying existence that exerted an absolute bloodline suppression, forcing it to flee for its very life. The little Qilin, now fully awake, caught sight of the tiger demon's fleeing figure. Its eyes widened in an instant, and it leaped from the cradle of Fang Chen's arms. In a flash, it teleported and vanished. It had actually invoked a spatial art. A roar filled with terror echoed from outside, but it was cut short. A moment later, the little Qilin reappeared, dragging the tiger demon back into the hidden grotto by its tail. It was like a small kitten that had caught a rat 100 times its own size. The tiger demon's eyes were now dim and lifeless. The evil spirit that had animated it had been utterly annihilated. The little Qilin opened its maw and inhaled greedily. The spectral tiger, an apparition condensed from the demonic power and blood essence of a supreme demon lord, dissolved into a stream of energy and was devoured in great gulps. In less than the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, the little Qilin patted its round, full belly and with another spatial teleport returned to Fang Chen's embrace. "What in the world just happened?" Fang Chen asked. Why would such a ferocious tiger demon treat the little Qilin as its mortal nemesis? It was truly beyond comprehension. But the only answer he received was the sound of gentle snores. The corner of Fang Chen's mouth twitched, asleep again. What was wrong with this little creature? When had it become so profoundly fond of sleep? Still, he was truly grateful to the little Qilin. Although Fang Chen possessed his thunder arts and the tiger demon likely could not have killed him, its escape would have posed a catastrophic threat to the disciples of the 9 sects on the mountain. After this ordeal, Fang Chen regarded the vial of tiger demon blood essence with far greater caution. This was the essence of a being that had neared the soul formation realm. If a mere vial of its blood contained such fearsome power, how terrifying must an actual soul formation expert be? After confirming that the blood essence no longer contained any trace of the previous entity, he cautiously extracted a single drop. As a precaution, he diluted it tenfold in a cup of water before carefully ingesting it. The instant it reached his stomach, Fang Chen felt as if molten magma was churning within him. The searing pain made him gasp, his muscles twisting into knots, and his face contorting into a mask of agony. He was nearly driven to writhe upon the ground in torment. Had he not undergone countless sessions of body tempering and developed a high tolerance for pain, he would have succumbed to unconsciousness on the spot. Enduring the excruciating agony, Fang Chen began to circulate the final layer of the Iron Blood True Scripture, his entire body trembling uncontrollably. One of the many legacies left by the half, Demon Liu Qingxian in the sacred lands of the giant sect, the Iron Blood True Scripture, had exceedingly harsh cultivation requirements. Fang Chen had practiced it since his time in the Kai condensation realm, and now he had finally reached its ultimate layer. He endured the agony, guiding the potency of the 100-fold. I eluted blood essence through every meridian and bone in his body. Once the pain subsided, a sign that the essence's potency had waned, he diluted 2 drops this time, swallowing the concoction with a flicker of dread in his eyes. The heart-piercing agony assaulted him once more, and so the cycle of torment repeated, again and again. From within the hidden space, over the course of the next 3 days, low roars of agony echoed intermittently. At last, Fang Chen consumed the final drop of the tiger demon's blood essence directly, feeling nothing more than a faint burning sensation. Fang Chen exhaled a long breath, and with it, a torrent of searing hot kai erupted forth. His body was coated in a thick layer of grayish, black slime, the unmistakable result of a thorough marrow cleansing and muscle refinement brought on by the transformation of his physique. When I attained the Phoenix Blood Treasure body, the expelled impurities were a viscous black substance. Now it is a grayish black slime. This reflects a fundamental, qualitative transformation of my very constitution. Fang Chen clenched his fist. Asterisk crack. Asterisk, the very air in his grasp seemed to shatter, and the faint, majestic roar of a tiger echoed in the sound. The tyrannical sky tiger body, Fang Chen could feel that his physique had attained an unbelievable level of power. Even if a demonic beast at the 5th layer of the Golden Core realm were to appear before him, Fang Chen could effortlessly obliterate it with his sheer physical might alone. He could even contend with a mighty beast king at the 6th layer of the Golden Core realm, one as formidable as the Xuanjia. Next, Fang Chen shed his old robes and cleansed his body, revealing a perfect physique. His muscles etched like a master's sculpture. Though his frame remained slender, every fiber of his being pulsed with explosive, terrifying power. The profound transformation from the cleansing of his meridians had rendered his skin fairer than ever before, flawless like the finest white jade, a cool, luminous complexion that mortal maidens could only dream of. Combined with his now sharply defined features, his handsomeness had ascended to a new, breathtaking level. He donned a fresh set of robes, tidied the cultivation ground, and after ensuring nothing was left behind, hastened back toward Boundary Mountain. The 3-day period agreed upon with Wu Manyue had come. When he arrived at Boundary Mountain, she was already standing where the great wall met its base. Her arms were crossed before her, her wine, red gown a stark fiery contrast against the world of ice and snow. This, combined with her seductive figure, created a breathtakingly aggressive visual allure. However, it was clear she was displeased. Her eyes were fixed on the distance with a cold glare, and a flicker of impatience danced upon her brow. Late for such a crucial mission, she fumed internally. Just you wait, I'll give you an earful. She had long been waiting for a chance to get back at Fang Chen, and now that she had finally caught him being late, she was determined to make a grand issue of it. In the distance, the wind and snow churned violently. Someone was approaching. The only one to have gone afar to cultivate was Fang Chen. The approaching figure could be none other than him. He finally shows up, Wu Manyue muttered, her face a mask of cold displeasure as she watched the figure draw near. As the figure drew closer through the storm, a youth clad in a long black robe emerged, striding through the boundless blizzard as if it were nothing. The hem of his robe danced in the gale, his black hair flowed like a waterfall, and a simple silver sash cinched at his waist only served to accentuate his slender, well-proportioned frame. With every step, his eyes shone with a profound luster, as clear as a mirror in autumn waters. A soft, confident smile graced his lips, reminiscent of the first peach blossoms blooming in the spring dawn. Most striking of all was his skin. It was so fair that it seemed to glow, refracting a faint luminescence under the sun, a white that surpassed the driven snow, a fairness that would make any woman burn with envy. Wu Manyue stared, utterly transfixed. The image of this incomparably graceful and handsome youth was seared into her very soul. The ancient saying, a man on the path, as flawless as jade, surfaced in her mind unbidden. The black-robed youth before her was the very embodiment of those words. Such ethereal beauty, she wondered, since when did the 9 sects possess a disciple of this caliber? Wu Manyue's gaze softened into a daze. Realizing he was about to pass her, she instinctively looked away, a touch of shyness causing her to lower her crossed arms and smooth her tousled hair, her composure momentarily flustered. Even for someone as naturally bewitching as Wu Manyue, encountering a man so strikingly handsome that he made her heart stir left her unavoidably self-conscious. To her utter astonishment, however, he did not simply walk past. He stopped beside her, and with a slight frown, asked, "Who are you waiting for?" That voice, Wu Manyue snapped her head around in disbelief. As her eyes focused, she saw the familiar brows, eyes, and mouth. Who else could it be but Fang Chen? Wu Manyue gasped in shock. How have you changed so completely? The Fang Chen of before had been handsome, certainly, but for someone like her who had seen countless peerless visages at the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, his appearance had never been particularly striking. But after only a few days, he had undergone a complete metamorphosis, a transformation so stunning that she hadn't even recognized him at first glance. Fang Chen didn't deign to answer her, his tone cold and detached. "We are about to depart. Are you not going to brief me on the mission?" Her heart still reeling from the shock, Wu Manyue continued to appraise Fang Chen's luminous skin as she spoke. "As it happens, this mission is somewhat related to you." Fang Chen was taken aback. "Related to me?" Circling him, her eyes never ceasing their inspection, Wu Manyue said, "You remember Consort Yunxia, don't you? The intelligence you extracted from the Golden Clawed Iron Wolf revealed that this Consort Yunxia possesses an unknown quantity of Demon Emperor's essence blood. With the final war between our races imminent, this latent threat must be eliminated. Therefore, our special operation is to ambush and assassinate Consort Yunxia." Fang Chen was aghast. "You must be joking. The Demon Emperor's consort cannot be weak, and she will undoubtedly be protected by powerful guardians. For a few disciples like us to go will be marching to our deaths. A mission like this is fraught with immense peril even for the elders, let alone us." Wu Manyue, still marveling at Fang Chen's transformation, replied, "You're overthinking it. Even if we wanted to lead the ambush ourselves, the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion would fear we'd only bungle the affair. The true assassins are elder-level experts dispatched by the 9 sects. Our task is merely to lie in wait at the exit of Dead Soul Gorge and eliminate any who escape the net, ensuring their efforts are not in vain." "So that's how it is." Fang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Assisting the experts was a far more manageable task. Though significant dangers remained, if the reward was the chance to cultivate in a land where a nascent soul expert had transcended their tribulation, then it was a risk well worth taking. "Where are the other team members?" Fang Chen asked with a nod, for a mission of such gravity. "It won't be just us. They are all waiting at the foot of the mountain." Wu Manyue retracted her appraising gaze. The moment her words fell, Fang Chen executed a movement technique, soaring over the Great Wall and down the other side of Boundary Mountain, clearly having no intention of traveling with her. This made Wu Manyue grit her teeth in frustration. "Bastard, do you think becoming handsome gives you the right to be so arrogant? Don't think for a second I'll let you off the hook. After the mission, I'll find a way to settle our old scores," she muttered. "Of course, seeing as you're so handsome now, perhaps I can be a little lenient." At the foot of Boundary Mountain, Fang Chen spotted several familiar figures. Though startled by his transformation, they had fought alongside him for days and recognized him in an instant. "What did I tell you? Junior brother Fang would definitely come." Liang Feiyan extended a hand and laughed heartily. "I win. Pay up." With pained expressions, Aoyong Jun, Zai Liashu, Hua Zainshan, and Lai Shiqian each reluctantly took out a Chengxin pill and placed it in Liang Feiyan's hand. Only the peerless beauty Xia Keoj stood apart, holding the leash of a demonic wolf, a faint, knowing smile on her lips as she watched the scene unfold. "What's all this?" Fang Chen asked as he approached. Liu Qingxian replied with a mournful sigh, "We lost a bet, of course." Upon inquiry, Fang Chen discovered that the group had made a wager on whether he would participate in this mission. Aside from Liang Feiyan, they all believed he would not show up. After all, Wu Manyue had suffered numerous setbacks at his hands. He should be avoiding her like the plague, let alone daring to join an expedition she organized. Only Liang Feiyan had guessed correctly. 4 dust heart pills, plus the one bestowed upon me by my master. Once I return, I can attempt to break through to the 5th level of the Golden Core Realm. Liang Feiyan cupped his fists toward Fang Chen with a hearty laugh. "Haha, junior brother Fang is truly my lucky star." They all assumed you would be terrified of Wu Manyue, but only I knew that with junior brother Fang's methods, she could never outmatch you. Aoyong Jun and the others pulled long faces, thoroughly steeped in chagrin. They had all achieved meritorious deeds on the battlefield, leading the sect to make an exception and reward each of them with a dust heart pill. Now they had lost them all. Liu Qingxian pouted coquettishly, "Junior brother Fang, you must compensate us." The group did not know whether to laugh or cry. Fang Chen also chuckled and said, all right. He retrieved 10 rejuvenation pills and tossed them to Liu Qingxian, saying, "Divide these among yourselves." During his few days of secluded cultivation, apart from his regular cultivation, he had found the time to refine a batch of rejuvenation pills and 3-step intoxication. He made 100 of each, enough to last him for a good period. I was merely jesting. Startled, Liu Qingxian hastily tried to return them. Fang Chen said, "This journey still harbors hidden perils. Keep 2 pills each, just in case of unforeseen circumstances." These people before him were all familiar faces. He did not wish to hear news of anyone's fall ever again. That feeling was simply too agonizing to bear. Profoundly moved, Liu Qingxian murmured, "Junior brother Fang, how should I ever repay you?" By her reckoning, Fang Chen had saved her life atop the summit of the Boundary Mountain, and later gifted her spirit elixirs on multiple occasions. Zai Liushu smirked wickedly. "You could always throw yourself into his embrace. It just so happens that junior sister Liu Qingxian is away on another mission. You must seize this opportunity to slip in while the defenses are down. Once she returns, you won't even be able to get close to junior brother Fang. Ouch." Out of nowhere, Zai Liushu clutched his backside and howled. Turning his head, he saw Zhaoge quietly gazing at him, weighing a few iron pellets in her hand. "Senior brother Zai, mind your words and actions." Rubbing his rear, Zai Liushu realized this was already the 2nd time he had been disciplined by Zhaoge for speaking out of turn. He grumbled speechlessly, "When junior brother Fang was holding you and crying, I didn't see you telling him to mind his words and actions." Before he could finish his sentence, several iron pellets pelted him, sending him scurrying with his hands over his head, howling incessantly. Fang Chen broke into a wry smile. He took out a bottle of rejuvenation pills, handed it to her, and said, "This is yours." Zhaoge glanced at the jade bottle, containing fully 10 rejuvenation pills, a hint of joy gracing her beautiful face, and accepted it with elegant poise. Fang Chen was actually somewhat bewildered. He had thought Zhaoge would reject it like last time, citing that it overstepped the bounds of their martial aunt and nephew relationship, yet this time she accepted it without hesitation. Fang Chen sensed a fierce, glaring gaze directed at him. Tracing the look, he found it belonged to the demonic beast wolf, leashed in Zhaoge's hand. Its entire body was pitch black, save for its claws that shimmered with a golden luster. Fang Chen paused in astonishment. This demonic beast looks awfully familiar. The golden, clawed iron wolf immediately bared its fangs and brandished its claws, issuing furious, howling barks at Fang Chen. Fang Chen rubbed his nose. What is this fellow barking about? He did not understand a single word of the demon race's language, and the others similarly shook their heads. Liang Feiyan displayed a peculiar expression. "Why do I feel as though it harbors a deep-seated grudge against you? Junior brother Fang, do you recognize this demonic wolf?" Fang Chen had truly slaughtered far too many demonic beasts as of late. For a moment, he could not be certain if this was a fish that had slipped through his net somewhere. "Is it a golden, clawed iron wolf?" Swaying her waist, Wu Manyue strolled over unhurriedly. Halting before Fang Chen, she gloated. "This demonic wolf is cursing you, and its words are quite foul." Fang Chen cast her a suspicious glance. "Could it be that you are proficient in the language of the demon race?" Cupping her bountiful chest with both hands, Wu Manyue rolled her eyes. "The trivial language of the demon race, with my supreme aptitude, isn't mastering it a breeze. This demonic wolf called you a little sweetheart, claiming you ruined its reputation and that it shares an irreconcilable enmity with you. A look of sudden realization dawned upon Fang Chen. Staring at the howling demonic wolf, he chuckled wryly. So it's you. Did you not receive the human race's Medal of Honor? Did the giant sect not arrange female wolves to properly entertain you? This golden, clawed iron wolf was the vice-captain of the Royal Guard. It was precisely through interrogating it previously that Fang Chen had extracted the vital intelligence regarding concubine Yunxia, bringing the demon emperor's essence blood to the front lines. Wu Manyue spoke in the tongue of the demon race, translating Fang Chen's words. The golden, clawed iron wolf immediately unleashed an agitated roar. Covering her mouth with a light chuckle, Wu Manyue asked, "Shall I translate?" Fang Chen scoffed. "There's no need. Even without translation, I know it must be cursing me vilely." He raised his palm, a layer of poisonous mist dancing upon it. "It has been far too long since I utilized my poison arts. My hands are getting a bit itchy." The moment the golden, clawed iron wolf laid eyes upon the poison palm, its mind was instantly dominated by the terrifying memories of Fang Chen torturing it with that very technique. It snapped its maw shut immediately, not daring to utter a single whimper, only stealing fearful, furtive glances at him. The crowd clicked their tongues in marvel. It was evident this golden, clawed iron wolf had suffered greatly under Fang Chen's hands. "Why bring along this demon traitor?" Fang Chen asked, retracting his poison palm. Wu Manyue replied, "Firstly, as a mount. Secondly, no one here recognizes concubine Yunxia. Once we annihilate this royal contingent, we will need someone to identify the corpse." "I see," Fang Chen said. "When do we depart?" Wu Manyue gazed up at the sky and answered, "Any time is fine, so long as we ensure our arrival near the gorge of departed souls within a day." Fang Chen nodded. Just as he was about to leap onto the golden, clawed iron wolf, he suddenly noticed a bundle of books strapped to its side. Mildly startled, he drew out a volume in disbelief and exclaimed, "Aren't these the ancient tomes from Commissioner Liu's possession, who redeemed them?" These were none other than the linguistic archives of the myriad races. He had desired them, but lacked the merit points to exchange for them. He could hardly believe they would appear here. "A gift for martial uncle," Zhaoge smiled faintly. Seeing how much Fang Chen liked it, a profound sense of satisfaction welled up within her heart. You redeemed these to give to me?" Fang Chen asked, astonished. He realized that Commissioner Liu had likely mentioned his fondness for the books, prompting Zhaoge to willingly exchange for them as a gift for him. How many merit points must this have cost? Fang Chen's heart felt heavy. Every single merit point had been earned by Zhaoge at the risk of her life. Using them to buy him a present made this immensely precious. Zhaoge's faint smile remained, not many, so it was only 300 merit points. Fang Chen felt a wave of relief wash over him. 300 merit points was an amount he could still accept. Smiling, he said, "Thank you truly. Your martial uncle loves them." A gratified smile blossomed across Zhaoge's beautiful visage. With those words, trading away that precious hairpin had not been in vain. Wu Manyue scrutinized Zhaoge with a playful glint in her eyes. That bundle of the myriad races' linguistic archives was a trove of priceless ancient texts from a millennium ago. Within the Heaven's secret pavilion, such items required monumental contributions to redeem. Even if the requirements were significantly lowered after being placed in the Sect treasury, they were absolutely not something a mere 300 merit points could procure. Zhaoge's entire pool of merit points might not have sufficed. She likely had to pay an additional price to secure them. "What does Senior Sister Wu wish to say?" Zhaoge met her gaze and asked calmly. Wu Manyue shrugged her fragrant shoulders and smiled. Nothing at all. Turning around, she vaulted onto the demonic wolf and called out, "Let's go." For someone who usually reveled in stirring up chaos, this time she saw through the truth but chose not to expose it. The group set forth, journeying toward the gorge of departed souls, a day's travel away. Meanwhile, Fang Chen rummaged through the multitude of documents, quickly singling out the linguistic archives of the demon race. The language of the demon race was incredibly complex and far from easy to master. Even though it had been personally compiled by ancient sages, designed to guide learners from the shallow to the deep to make it as comprehensible as possible, it remained exceedingly profound. Fortunately, Fang Chen possessed astonishing comprehension. Turning the pages one by one, he swiftly grasped the contents within. Watching Fang Chen flip through the book so rapidly, Wu Manyue could not help but mock lightly. "Skimming 10 lines at a glance will not teach you the demon race's language. I toiled bitterly for 3 years, and even I dare not claim mastery over their script. I can only say I communicate without hindrance." Fang Chen was single-mindedly focused, having no time to entertain her. By now, he could already comprehend the occasional low mutters emitted by the demonic wolf beneath his feet, barely managing to communicate with the demonic beast. This linguistic archive compiled by the ancient sages was all-encompassing, featuring several obscure scripts that were already lost to the modern demon race. Since he had managed to obtain such a precious tome with great difficulty, it was only natural that he absorbed as much as possible. A day later, Fang Chen's head throbbed, his mind brimming with a torrent of new information. Even comprehending a heaven-rank cultivation method like 5 currents of void energy had only taken him 3 days and 3 nights. To spend an entire day solely on a linguistic text was a first for him. In return, his harvest was immense. Without exaggeration, he now understood the script of the demon race far better than the modern demons themselves. "We have arrived at the soul-severing gorge," Wu Manyue suddenly announced, a long, sprawling canyon. What greeted their eyes was a gorge thousands of fathoms deep, so profoundly dark that the bottom could not be seen. There was absolutely no possibility of scaling its sheer walls. The only way to exit the gorge was through the entrances and exits situated at its 2 ends. As fate would have it, the passage on the far side of Soul-Severing Gorge had collapsed in a great cataclysm years ago, sealing it completely. Only the gorge's mouth before them remained a viable path for passage. By holding this strategic point, they could lay an ambush for the routed and defeated remnants. With a low, earth-shaking rumble, a snow-white calf that could vanish from sight soon drew near, its approach utterly silent. From its back dismounted 10 human figures, their auras overwhelmingly powerful. They were none other than the elders dispatched on the mission to slay the consort of the demonic emperor. Among them was an elder, his years beyond 60, with a stooped frame and clad in simple, unadorned robes. He bore not a shred of a formidable aura. An unknowing observer might have mistaken him for a common village patriarch. Yet the other 9 elders, each a pillar of their own sect, all looked to this unassuming old man as their leader. Wu Manyue was utterly astounded. As a disciple of the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion, she dared not show any disrespect, stepping forward to bow with clasped hands. "Supreme Elder Fang," she revered, "what brings your esteemed self to this place?" A supreme elder, Fang Chen and his companions were stunned to think that a power of such a supreme caliber had been deployed for this mission. As juniors, they dared not show the slightest neglect, and all stepped forward to offer their solemn respects. When Zhaoge recognized the elder's face, her brows furrowed slightly. Without a word, she subtly shifted her footing, positioning herself to obscure half of Fang Chen's body from view. Liang Feiyin, too, seemed to realize something was amiss. Her gaze flickered towards Fang Chen, a hint of deep concern shadowing her features. The expressions of Aoyang Jun, Zai Liashu, Hua Zhangchen, and Lai Shiqian shifted in turn, each of them secretly trembling with apprehension for Fang Chen. The supreme elder before them was none other than Fang Teji, a supreme elder of the Titan Sect. But to their profound dismay, he held another title. He was the master of Tai Bubai. The presence of any other supreme elder from the Titan Sect would have been manageable, but Fang Teji. He was the very one who should never have come. "So, you are the disciples assigned to support this operation." With his hands clasped behind his stooped back, Fang Teji's gaze swept over them. Though only a look, it pressed upon them with the weight of a physical, tangible force. It was a testament to the terrifying heights his physical prowess had reached. He had likely touched the very precipice of the legendary golden body. The assembled disciples grew ever more reverent. Fang Teji's gaze landed upon Fang Chen, a peculiar light glinting in his eyes. "Such a powerful physique. It rivals that of some elders from my Titan sect. To possess such an attainment at your age is remarkable. Junior, from which sect do you hail? What is your name?" The countenances of Zhaoge and the others sank. Their worst fears were realized. Of all people, Fang Teji had fixed his attention upon Fang Chen. They remained silent, none daring to utter a word. The 9 accompanying elders had all witnessed Fang Chen in action days before and recognized him instantly. Moreover, they had heard the rumors that he was inextricably linked to the death of Tai Bubai. For that moment, they too held their tongues, daring not to speak. Sensing the strange atmosphere, Fang Teji frowned. "What is it? Am I forbidden to ask? Or perhaps," as if struck by a sudden realization, his ancient eyes narrowed to slits. "I have heard tell of a disciple who has recently risen to great prominence, one by the name of Fang Chen. A disciple of my sect has testified that this man possesses a purple sword, the very weapon suspected of slaying Tai Bubai." "Junior, you wouldn't happen to be Fang Chen, would you?" "With age comes profound wisdom. Hiding the truth from a supreme elder who had weathered countless storms was a fool's errand. Fang Chen let out a faint sigh. He had guessed the elder's identity the very moment Zhaoge had subtly moved to shield him. What was destined to come could not be avoided. "I am he," Fang Chen stated, his voice calm and clear. A piercing, deadly light suddenly erupted from the depths of Fang Teiji's profound eyes. In that same instant, an immense and crushing force slammed into Fang Chen's chest. Fang Chen's spirit shuddered, yet he was prepared. With a deep, internal tremor, he unleashed the tyrant heaven tiger body, and the roars of 1,000 tigers thundered within his very being. The immense power circulating through him deflected the torrent of force that had struck. Even so, the impact forced him to retreat 3 full steps. Fang Teiji's gaze grew sharper. "You are more formidable than I thought. A common disciple would have been sent flying, spitting blood, yet you merely retreated 3 steps. A pity," he hissed, "that you are not of my Titan sect, and more's the pity, you murdered my treasured disciple." A profound and murderous intent flared to life within his murky, ancient eyes. "Senior Fang, I pray you hold." The chosen elder from the Azure Cloud sect was Zhao Wuji. Having been deeply worried for Fang Chen, the moment he saw Fang Teiji's killing intent flare, he instantly appeared before Fang Chen, shielding him. He cupped his fists in a gesture of respect. "Senior Fang, please calm your wrath. The recordings of the Heaven, Supervising Crystal, have shown that the accusations from your honorable sect's disciple were utterly baseless. Our disciple, Fang Chen, is innocent. I implore you, Senior, to discern the truth." The elders from the other 8 sects also began to speak up in his defense. "Senior Fang, I was present. It is as Elder Zhao has stated. The events of that day were a grave misunderstanding. We ask that you do not falsely accuse an innocent man." Boom! Fang Teiji tapped the ground lightly with the tip of his foot, unleashing a shrieking gale that violently cut their words short. "When this old master conducts his affairs, is it your place to question me?" His ancient face remained impassive. Far from abating at their pleas, the killing intent in his eyes only grew more frigid and intense. He stated with chilling indifference, "When this old master kills, he has no need for proof." He lifted his foot and took a step toward Fang Chen. As the foot fell, Zhao Wuji felt as though Mount Tai was pressing down upon him. His face suddenly paled, and fresh blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. His face flushed crimson as he choked out, "Senior Fang, please be magnanimous." He had been crushed so heavily that his words were slurred. Only by tightly clenching his jaw could he force these few words through his teeth. The elders of the other 8 sects were chilled to the bone. Fang Teiji was wantonly murdering a disciple of another sect. Yet he possessed the qualifications to fear no reprisal, for across the vast lands of the 9 sects, he was a supreme grand elder ranked within the top 5. Aside from Liu Qingxian, there was not a second person in existence who could guarantee a victory over him. Zhaoge's expression turned frigid as she drew her sword, declaring, "Senior Fang, if you continue this reckless madness, do not blame this junior for being disrespectful." Liang Feiyan gritted her teeth and decisively drew her sword as well. "Senior Fang, how can you treat human lives as mere grass?" Aoyang Jun, Zai Liushu, Hua Zhangchen, and Lai Shiqian, after a moment's struggle, resolutely drew their swords and stood firmly by Fang Chen's side. Having all walked through the gates of death upon the boundary mountain, they no longer harbored any fear of perishing. Fang Chen cast them a grateful gaze and said, "Thank you. However, step down, all of you. I shall deal with him myself." This old fossil wished to forcibly slay him without a single shred of evidence. In his current state, he was capable of slaying anyone. Within his sleeve, a jade talisman containing the strike of a nascent soul realm cultivator was rapidly activating. Such lethal weapons were meant to slaughter enemies upon the battlefield. Fang Chen absolutely did not wish to unleash them upon his own kind. But the giant sect had repeatedly pushed him too far, and now this grand elder Fang was wantonly seeking his life. Forced by circumstance, he had no choice but to waste one upon him. "Senior Fang, by taking action here, are you not afraid of alarming the Demon Emperor's concubine?" Wu Manyue spoke with a frosty expression. "If you ruin this mission, and the Demon Emperor's essence blood ultimately falls to the front lines, how many heads do you have to be chopped off?" A glint of disdain flashed in her eyes. Could this old fossil truly not distinguish between what was trivial and what was vital? Were personal grudges to be elevated above the great war between the 2 races? Hearing these words, a trace of dread finally surfaced in Fang Teiji's eyes. He could disregard the people of the 9 sects. No matter who came, he feared none. Yet, if his actions truly ruined the endeavor and drew the wrath of the heavenly secret pavilion, it would indeed bring monumental trouble. The killing intent in his eyes receded like the tide, but the chilling frost remained undiminished. Once I have claimed the head of the demon emperor's concubine, this old man shall return to settle the score with you, Fang Teiji stated indifferently, before clasping his hands behind his back and striding toward the heart of the canyon. Zhao Wuji wiped the blood from his mouth, turned to give Fang Chen a meaningful look, urging him to flee quickly, and only then followed the other elders into the canyon. Once they were all inside, Liang Feiyan finally cursed. What a despicable wretch, using his seniority to bully the young. She turned to look at Fang Chen, unable to hide her worry as she advised, Junior Brother Fang, ride the demonic wolf and return alone. This old fossil is utterly unreasonable. The moment the mission is over, he is certain to seek trouble with you. Fang Chen merely shook his head, a trace of icy intent gleaming in his eyes. There is no need. Let us complete the mission first. This old bastard had made no secret of his desire to kill him, and had even injured Elder Zhao. Why should he be allowed to walk away unscathed? Since the giant sect missed Taibu by so dearly, he might as well send a grand elder down to the underworld to reunite with him. Liang Feiyan anxiously tried to persuade him further, but Wu Manyue giggled and interrupted. Junior Brother Fang, you only remained unharmed just now thanks to me. How should you thank me? Her peach blossom eyes were brimming with provocation. Fang Chen scoffed. Were you helping me? You were saving that old fossil, Fang Teiji. Others might not have realized that Fang Chen grasped a nascent Soul Realm Jade talisman, but Wu Manyue had come to the battlefield precisely for those talismans. How could she not know? Fine, I admit I was saving him. But what can be done when the mission is yet incomplete? Someone has to do the heavy lifting and obliterate the demon emperor's concubine. Wu Manyue shrugged as she confessed. All right, let us all lie in ambush. Our seniors will soon engage the forces of the demon emperor's concubine in a grand battle. Remnants may escape at any moment, so let us not be a hindrance. Everyone's expressions were relaxed, completely devoid of the tension they felt at the Boundary Mountain. The lineup deployed by the human race this time was simply too magnificent. 9 elders, in addition to a top-tier combatant like Grand Elder Fang Teiji. One simply could not fathom any reason for the human race to suffer defeat. While the group swiftly concealed themselves deep within the soul-severing canyon, 10 colossal demonic beasts, their massive frames spanning 50 to 60 zhang in length, lay coiled around a luxurious encampment. Their demonic kai soared to the heavens, their gazes fierce and malicious, radiating an incomparably mighty aura. The strength of each beast was no weaker than that of Xuanjia. Protected by such formidable guards, who else could it be but the demon emperor's concubine? One of the demonic beasts abruptly raised its massive head. It cast its gaze toward the exit, but within the boundless darkness there was absolutely nothing. Bai Teng, did you sense something? The 9 demonic beasts beside it awakened in succession. The eyes of the demonic beast named Bai Teng gleamed with a faint crimson light, allowing it to survey the gloomy canyon with absolute clarity. It shook its head slightly. Nothing. My senses must have deceived me. Suddenly, its pupils contracted violently. For just a short distance ahead, a stooped, gray-haired elder was approaching with his hands clasped behind his back. Protect the imperial consort. Bai Teng drew in a sharp breath of cold air and unleashed a piercing shriek of alarm. It had scrutinized the area meticulously and detected absolutely no presence. Yet, the old man before it had materialized out of thin air, arriving right before it without alerting gods or ghosts. What did this signify? It meant this human elder possessed a cultivation so terrifyingly profound that Bai Teng's innate divine ability was utterly incapable of capturing his aura. The last time it had experienced such suffocating might was when facing the heaven-devouring tiger, a supreme demonic king.
Edit.
More vert. Let's get one thing straight. Fang Chen didn't just pop a premium cosmetic skin upgrade to make Wu Manyue's aggro suddenly drop to 0. He casually speedrun the ancient demon Duolingo in 24 hours just to aggressively flex on her 3-year grind. That is some absolute giga-chad, max intelligence stat behavior right there. But the real comedy gold of this episode. Enter Supreme Elder Fang Teiji, stomping in with maximum boomer NPC energy. This fossil tries to pull the classic Xingxia trope of I am a high-level admin. I don't need proof to PK a noob. Entirely oblivious to the fact that our boy Fang Chen has his finger hovering over a literal nascent soul tactical nuke in his inventory. Teiji is out here acting like he is the raid boss, while Fang Chen is just doing the mental math on whether it is worth wasting a legendary consumable to permanently ban this old man from the server. Wu Manyu didn't step in to save Fang Chen from the Elder. She intervened to save the Elder from getting his Dao Heart instantly uninstalled. Have fun acting tough, carrying the Vanguard squad, Grandpa. You literally just survived by the skin of your plot armor. Thumb down.